Hello there, and welcome to the Sleeping Science Bedtime. Tonight we'll drift through the quiet architecture of the universe, a place where light moves slower and time forgets to hurry. Perhaps the day has been full of noise, and your thoughts have been reaching for a place to settle, seeking a landscape where the heavy demands of the visible world simply dissolve. Let your shoulders rest. Let gravity hold you, feeling the way the earth beneath you supports your weight without asking for anything in return. Tonight, we'll drift through the quiet laws of the invisible cosmos, exploring the dark matter and silent energy that cradle every star you have ever seen. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way here too. Now let's begin. As you lie here, the room around you feels solid and known, yet you are part of a much larger, more mysterious arrangement that defies the touch. We often think of the universe as a collection of bright things, burning suns, silver moons, and the dusty veils of nebulae, but these are merely the foam on a deep, dark sea. Most of what exists does not glow, does not reflect, and does not cast a shadow, remaining hidden from our eyes and even our most sensitive instruments. It is a silent foundation, a scaffolding of substance that we call dark matter, stretching across the voids to hold the galaxies in a firm, invisible embrace. You are resting within this great silence, a passenger on a world guided by forces that prefer to remain nameless and unseen. And still, it turns. Imagine the Milky Way, our home of spiraling light, spinning like a slow carousel in the velvet theater of the deep night. Astronomers watch the stars at the very edges of these great wheels, expecting them to move slowly, like outer planets orbiting a distant sun. Instead, they found these far-flung stars racing with the same urgency as those near the center, as if something hidden were tethering them to the core. There is a weight there that we cannot see, a heavy, ghostly presence that provides the extra gravity needed to keep the galaxy from flying apart into the dark. It is as if the stars are lights hung on a grand, invisible tree, supported by branches made of something deeper than light, and the quiet holds. This invisible substance does not interact with the electromagnetic spectrum, meaning it lets light pass through it, like a ghost walking through a wall. It does not absorb the warmth of the sun, nor does it block the view of the distant clusters that shimmer in the depths of space. We know it is there only because it has a scent of gravity, a pull that bends the very fabric of the cosmos around its hidden mass. When we look at distant galaxies, we see their light curving and distorting as it passes through these invisible clouds, a phenomenon known as gravitational lensing. It is like looking at a pebble at the bottom of a clear stream, where the water ripples the image but remains transparent itself. Still, the universe breathes. You might think of dark matter as the womb of the cosmos, the initial gathering place where the first atoms of gas found a home. In the very early days of time, before the first fire was lit, these dark filaments drew together, creating pockets of high density in the smooth fabric of the young universe. Without this silent invitation, the hydrogen and helium would have remained scattered, too thin and too lonely to ever collapse into the brilliant nurseries of stars. Dark matter provided the gravity, the gentle but firm hand that pulled the visible world into being, acting as the architect of every structure we know. We are the children of this shadow, built upon a framework that was laid down long before the light began its journey, and the rhythm continues. The scale of this hidden world is difficult for the waking mind to grasp, yet in this stillness, it feels like a soft reassurance. For every gram of atoms that makes up your body, your bed, and the distant planets, there is 5 times as much dark matter filling the spaces between. It outnumbers the visible world so completely that we are the anomaly, the rare and fleeting spark in a universe that is primarily composed of the quiet. This realization does not make us small, but rather makes us feel deeply held, as if we are precious cargo being carried through the night. The dark is not a vacuum of nothingness, but a dense and supportive presence that ensures the stability of the cosmic dance, and peace lingers. As you breathe, consider how this invisible web connects the furthest reaches of space to the very room where you rest. This dark matter is not just out there among the stars. It is likely passing through you right now, ghost-like and gentle, leaving no trace upon your skin. It flows through the walls and the floor, through the clouds and the mountain peaks, indifferent to the barriers of the physical world. It is a reminder that there are layers to reality that we are only just beginning to whisper about, a depth to existence that requires no effort from us to maintain. We are part of a vast, interconnected system that functions perfectly in the silence, governed by laws that are as steady as your own heartbeat, and the network endures. If we could see the universe in its entirety, it would look like a delicate, glowing web, where the strands of dark matter form the silk. Along these invisible lines, galaxies hang like dewdrops, clustered together at the intersections where the gravity is strongest and the pull is most profound. These cosmic filaments stretch across billions of light years, creating a map of the unseen that guides the motion of everything that breathes and burns. It is a grand tapestry of connectivity, showing us that nothing in the cosmos is truly isolated or drifting without a purpose. Even the loneliest star is anchored to the great web, held in place by the silver threads of the dark, and everything rests in its place. Within the clusters of galaxies, we see this hidden mass acting like a cosmic glue, preventing the individual islands of light from wandering off into the great voids. The galaxies swarm and drift within massive halos of dark matter, moving in a choreography that was set in motion at the beginning of all things. It is a comforting thought to imagine these great systems being cradled by something so vast and so enduring, a protection that never falters. The gravity of the dark is a constant, a reliable force that persists even when the stars eventually dim and the fires of the nebulae go out. It is the permanent foundation of the house we live in, the steady ground beneath the feet of the constellations, and the quiet remains. As your mind drifts deeper, we move from the gathering pull of dark matter to the mysterious push of dark energy, the second great secret of the void. While dark matter wants to bring things together, dark energy is the breath of expansion, the quiet force that gently nudges the galaxies away from one another. It is not a substance like the matter we know, but perhaps a property of space itself, a hidden energy that lives in the very emptiness between the atoms. As space expands, there is more of this energy, and as there is more energy, the expansion begins to move faster and faster, like a long, slow exhale. It is the universe growing, stretching its limbs and making room for more silence. The current flows without effort. This expansion is so subtle that you cannot feel it within the solar system, where the sun's gravity keeps us tucked safely in our orbit. It only reveals itself across the truly immense distances between the clusters of galaxies, where the bonds of gravity begin to thin and the vacuum begins to speak. There, in the deep reaches of the intergalactic night, space is creating more of itself every second, a silent blooming of the nothingness. It is as if the universe is a lung, slowly filling with the cool air of the infinite, pushing the horizons further and further away. We live in a moment of perfect balance, where the gathering and the growing exist in a beautiful, tense harmony. And still, it turns. The discovery of this accelerating expansion changed everything we thought we knew about the destiny of the stars and the nature of the dark. For billions of years, gravity tried to slow the growth of the cosmos, acting like a brake on the momentum of the Big Bang, pulling back on the flying debris. But about 5 billion years ago, as the universe became sufficiently large and the matter became thin, dark energy took the lead, winning the cosmic tug-of-war. The expansion began to speed up, a graceful transition into a new era of cosmic history where distance is the primary law. It was a moment of release, a cosmic sigh that sent the galaxies on a journey toward an ever-widening future. And the rhythm continues. Think of dark energy as the steady pulse of the vacuum, a constant pressure that does not dilute even as the space it occupies becomes vast. Unlike matter, which gets spread thin as the volume increases, this energy remains at the same density, always present, always pushing with the same gentle insistence. It is an inexhaustible spring, a fountain of potential that flows from the very geometry of existence, requiring no fuel and leaving no waste. This means that the universe is not just drifting, it is being actively carried forward by a force that is woven into the fabric of every mile of space. You are part of this forward motion, a passenger on a journey that has no end and no horizon, and silence follows. In the quiet of your room, the idea of an accelerating universe might feel distant, but it is the same principle that allows for the stillness you feel now. Space is not a cold, empty void, but a living, energetic field that supports the possibility of everything that is. If space were not expanding, if it were not creating room, the universe might have collapsed back upon itself long ago, ending the story before it truly began. The push of dark energy is the gift of time and the gift of distance, ensuring that the stars have the space they need to shine without interference. It is the ultimate expression of freedom, a cosmic permission to exist and to grow. And the quiet holds. Scientists call this mystery the cosmological constant, a term first whispered by Einstein and then rediscovered by the watchers of the modern sky. It represents a fixed value of energy that belongs to the vacuum, a baseline of existence that persists even when every particle of matter is removed. It suggests that nothing is never truly empty, but is instead teeming with a quiet vitality that we are only just beginning to name. When you look into the dark between the stars, you are not looking at a hole in the world, but at the most powerful engine in the universe. It is a presence so subtle it feels like an absence, a strength so great it feels like a whisper. Still, the universe breathes. We see the fingerprints of these forces in the oldest light in the sky, the cosmic microwave background, which is the afterglow of the universe's birth. This light has traveled for 13 billion years, carrying the map of how dark matter first began to clump and how dark energy began to stir. By studying the tiny ripples in this ancient radiance, we can see the seeds of every galaxy that would ever form, planted in the fertile soil of the invisible. It is a record of a perfect beginning, where the laws of physics were written in the shadows long before they were spoken in the light. We are reading the history of a ghost, a story told in the language of heat and gravity. And the rhythm continues. Consider the elegance of a universe that hides its most important parts, leaving the light to act only as a decorative tracer of a much deeper reality. It is a humble arrangement, where the stars and the planets, everything we have ever loved, are but a small fraction of the whole. This realization invites a certain kind of peace, a letting go of the need to see everything clearly in order to trust that it is there. We are supported by a vast, invisible majority, a cosmic consensus that keeps the orbits true and the expansion steady. You do not need to understand the mechanics of the dark to be held by them, just as you do not need to understand the wind to feel its breath, and everything rests. As the galaxies move further apart, the light they emit must travel across more and more space to reach our eyes, becoming stretched and reddened by the journey. This cosmological redshift is the visual proof of the universe's expansion, a shift in the color of the stars that tells us the story of their departure. Over vast eons, the distant clusters will drift beyond our cosmic horizon, moving so far and so fast that their light will never again reach our shores. It is a slow thinning of the neighborhood, a transition into a deeper solitude where each galaxy becomes an island in an ever-growing ocean. But even in this distance, the dark matter remains, a faithful companion to the stars, and life adjusts once more. This process of expansion is not a tearing or a breaking, but a gentle stretching of the cosmic fabric, like a silken sheet being pulled taut by invisible hands. It happens everywhere at once, in every direction and across every dimension, a universal increase in the scale of things. There is no center to this growth, no single point from which we are fleeing. Rather, everything is simply becoming more distant from everything else. It is the ultimate meditation on let go, a physical manifestation of the idea that space is something that is constantly being renewed. The universe is always making more room for the quiet and more room for the dark. The current flows without effort. Dark matter and dark energy are the two poles of the cosmic experience, the pull of the earth and the reach of the sky. One gathers us into families of stars, giving us a place to belong and a structure to inhabit. while the other carries us outward toward an infinite frontier. Together, they create the rhythm of existence, a pulse of contraction and expansion that has governed the universe since the first moment of time. In this balance, we find a sense of security, knowing that the forces that hold us together are just as fundamental as the forces that move us forward. You are balanced between these two mysteries, a point of light in a magnificent shadow, and the quiet holds. In the great clusters of galaxies, like the Coma cluster or the Virgo cluster, we can see dark matter acting as a bridge between the islands of light. These clusters are the largest gravitationally bound structures in the universe, massive cities of stars that are held together by the invisible weight of the dark. The galaxies within them zip around at incredible speeds, yet they never drift away, anchored by the collective pull of the hidden mass that surrounds them. It is a dense, busy environment, but it is organized by a silence that is absolute and profound. We are seeing the architecture of the invisible, the hidden skeleton of the cosmic body. Still, the universe breathes. When we look at the way dark matter is distributed, we see that it is not a smooth cloud, but a complex landscape of peaks and valleys, a topography of the unseen. It forms halos around the galaxies, dense regions where the invisible substance is most concentrated, providing a gravitational well for the gas to fall into. These halos are the true homes of the galaxies, the protective shells that define their boundaries and their history. We are living inside such a halo, a sphere of dark influence that has guided the path of our sun for billions of years. It is a quiet, steady presence, a guardianship that requires no recognition. And the rhythm continues. There is a beauty in the fact that we can only see 5% of the universe, leaving 95% to be discovered by our imagination and our math. It suggests that the world is far larger and more complex than our senses can perceive, a mystery that invites us to stay curious, even in the dark. We are like sailors on a vast ocean, observing the waves and the stars, while the great depths beneath us remain a world of their own. This depth does not threaten us. It supports us, providing the buoyancy we need to travel. Across the surface of the night, you are resting on the surface of an infinite mystery, safe and secure, and everything rests in its place. If dark matter is the soul of the universe's structure, then dark energy is the spirit of its motion, the drive that prevents the cosmos from becoming static. It ensures that the story is always changing, that the map is always being redrawn, and that the future is always wider than the past. This constant growth is a form of renewal, a way for the universe to avoid the stagnation of a fixed and finished state. It is a system that is always in transition, always becoming something new, moving toward a horizon that is forever receding. In this movement, we find a sense of purpose, a feeling of being part of a grand and ongoing creation, and silence follows. Throughout the long history of time, the ratio of dark matter to dark energy has shifted, changing the character of the cosmos as it aged. In the early billions of years, dark matter was the dominant force, slowing the expansion and allowing the first structures to take shape in the cooling dark. But as the volume of space grew, the influence of dark energy slowly rose, eventually overtaking the gravity of matter and initiating the current era of acceleration. We live in a special epoch, a time when both forces are visible to us, allowing us to see the transition from the gathering to the growing. It is a privileged moment of clarity, a window into the inner workings of the machine. And the quiet remains. The nature of dark energy remains the greatest puzzle in all of physics, a question that sits at the very heart of how we understand the vacuum. Some believe it is a simple constant, a fixed cost of existence, while others wonder if it is a changing field, a quintessence that might evolve over the trillions of years to come. In either case, it represents a fundamental truth, that space is not a stage upon which the drama of the stars is played, but a primary actor in the play itself. The emptiness is doing something. It is participating in the evolution of the whole, a silent partner in the work of creation. You are resting in the arms of this active silence, and still it turns. Consider the sheer patience of these forces. acting over timescales that make the life of a star seem like a flickering candle. Dark matter has held its shape for 13 billion years, and dark energy has been pushing outward with the same steady pressure since the dawn of light. They do not hurry, they do not falter, and they do not change their nature based on the chaos of the visible world. They are the eternal laws, the steady rhythms that provide the underlying beat to the music of the spheres. In their persistence, we find a model of endurance, a reminder that the most powerful things in the world are often the most quiet, and the network endures. As you drift towards sleep, let the thought of this vast, invisible architecture settle over you like a warm blanket. You are not alone in the dark. You are surrounded by a substance that is older than the sun and an energy that is as wide as the sky. The universe is a well-ordered home where every star is accounted for and every distance is measured by the laws of the unseen. There is nothing to fear in the void, for the void is the very thing that gives us room to breathe and the structure to remain whole. You are part of the 95%, a participant in the great mystery of the shadows, and peace lingers. The dark is not a place of loss, but a place of potential, the fertile ground from which all light eventually springs. When we close our eyes, we return to this primary state, a world where the visible dissolves and the invisible becomes the primary reality. In this space, we can feel the pull of the dark matter and the push of the energy, the dual rhythms that govern our own internal lives. We gather our thoughts and our memories, and then we let them go, expanding into the stillness of the night. It is a natural return to the source, a quiet reunion with the forces that made us, and everything softens. As the quiet deepens, imagine the universe as a grand dark ocean, where the light of the galaxies is merely the bioluminescence of the waves. Beneath that surface lies the true mass of the sea, the dark matter that gives the water its depth and its weight. You are floating on this surface, supported by the immense volume of the unseen, feeling the rise and fall of cosmic tides that move with a slow, deliberate grace. The density of this hidden water varies, thicker in some places and thinner in others, creating the currents that guide the stars on their long journeys through the night. It is a world of fluid motion and silent strength, where every ripple is a response to a hidden gravity, and the rhythm continues. Think of the way a heavy stone creates a dip in a silken cloth, drawing everything nearby toward its center. Dark matter is like an invisible weight placed upon the fabric of space-time, creating these deep wells where visible matter can gather and rest. Over billions of years, the gas and dust of the early universe flowed into these depressions, pooling like rainwater in the hollows of a mountain. This is how the first galaxies were born, not by chance, but by following the contours of a map that was already laid out in the dark. We are living in one of these ancient valleys, a place of safety carved out by the silent, heavy hand of the invisible, and the quiet holds. As you breathe in and out, consider the vast filaments of dark matter that connect these galactic valleys, forming a cosmic web that stretches across the entirety of existence. These bridges are the highways of the universe, along which the light travels and the matter flows to find its place. They are so long that a beam of light would take hundreds of millions of years to cross just one, yet they are as delicate as the lace of a spider's web. This structure is the ultimate proof that the universe is an integrated whole, a single organism where every part is connected to every other part. Even in the deepest silence of the void, there is a connection that never breaks. Still, the universe breathes. In the spaces between these glowing filaments lie the great cosmic voids, immense bubbles of nothingness where dark energy reigns supreme. Here there are no stars to light the way, and no dark matter to pull the fabric together. There is only the pure, accelerating push of the vacuum. These voids are the largest features of the cosmos, great chambers of expansion that drive the growth of the entire system. They act like the air in a loaf of rising bread, pushing the dough of the galaxies further and further apart. In the heart of these voids, the peace is absolute, a stillness so profound it feels like the beginning of time, and the current flows without effort. Scientists use the term baryonic matter to describe the atoms that make up your body, the air you breathe, and the stars you see. This ordinary matter is like a dusting of snow on a mountain of dark substance, beautiful and bright, but only a fraction of the total weight. We are made of the rare stuff, the 5% that has learned how to glow and how to dream. Yet we are inseparable from the 95% that remains in the shadows. This relationship is not a competition, but a partnership, where the visible provides the expression and the invisible provides the support. You are the voice of the dark, the way the silent universe finally gets to speak, and the network endures. If we look back to the moment of the Big Bang, we can see that dark matter was already there, a silent witness to the birth of light. While the visible matter was too hot and too energetic to clump together, the dark matter remained cool and steady, beginning its work of organization immediately. It acted as the seed for everything that would follow, providing the gravitational blueprints for the first stars and the first black holes. Without this early intervention, the universe might have remained a featureless mist of cooling gas, never finding the courage to become something more. We owe our existence to the patience of the invisible, to the slow gathering that happened in the dark, and still, it turns. As the universe continues to expand, the distance between the clusters of galaxies grows, but the galaxies themselves do not stretch. The gravity of dark matter is strong enough to hold the individual stars and planets together, protecting them from the thinning effect of dark energy. It is as if each galaxy is a small, sturdy boat on a widening sea. The sea grows larger, but the boat remains whole. This means that while the horizon becomes more distant, our immediate home remains secure and intimate. You are held within a pocket of stability, a sanctuary where the laws of the local world are stronger than the expansion of the infinite, and everything rests in its place. Consider the Bullet Cluster, a magnificent collision of two large groups of galaxies that provided some of the most striking evidence for dark matter. When these clusters crashed into each other, the visible gas slowed down and heated up, glowing fiercely in the X-ray spectrum. But the dark matter kept going, passing right through the collision without slowing down at all, as if the other cluster weren't even there. Using gravitational lensing, we can see the mass of the dark matter sitting far ahead of the visible gas, a ghostly vanguard that refused to be disturbed. It is a reminder that the invisible world operates on a different level of reality, untouched by the friction and noise of the visible, and the quiet remains. The dark energy that drives the expansion of the universe is often called vacuum energy, implying that even the emptiest box of space has a minimum weight. This energy is a property of the space itself, meaning that as more space is created, more energy appears, creating a feedback loop of growth. It is the only thing in the universe that becomes more powerful as it spreads out, a paradox that defies our everyday experience of the world. In this way, the universe is like an unending fountain, constantly generating the momentum it needs to keep moving forward. This infinite resource is the guarantee that the story will never truly end, only change its scale, and silence follows. In the quantum world, we see that the vacuum is never truly empty, but is instead a bubbling cauldron of virtual particles that pop in and out of existence. This tiny, frantic activity at the smallest scales might be the source of the dark energy that moves the largest scales of the cosmos. It is a bridge between the microscopic and the infinite, showing us that the quietest spaces are actually the most active. When you lie still, your own body is a collection of these same quantum mysteries, a localized version of the cosmic energy that drives the stars. You are a microcosm of the vacuum, a place where the energy has found a way to become a person. Still, the universe breathes. Dark matter is not just one thing. It might be a whole family of particles that we have yet to name, a dark sector with its own complex laws. Some theories suggest that dark matter particles might interact with each other in subtle ways, forming dark atoms or even dark stars that we can never see. This would mean that the universe is even more crowded than we imagine, filled with a hidden geography that mirrors our own in the shadows. It is a thought that invites a sense of wonder, The idea that we are walking through a landscape that is far more populated than it appears. We are guests in a house of many invisible rooms. And the rhythm continues. The formation of a dark matter halo is a slow and beautiful process, where the invisible particles fall toward each other in a graceful, spiraling dance. They don't collide and bounce like billiard balls. They simply glide past each other, bound together by their mutual pull. Over billions of years, these halos grow larger and denser, attracting more and more visible matter to their centers like moths to a flame. These halos are the true foundations of the cosmic city, the bedrock upon which the light is built. You are living in the heart of such a foundation, a place of deep and ancient stability, and the quiet holds. When we observe the rotation of a galaxy, we are essentially weighing the dark matter that we cannot see. The stars in the outer disk of the Milky Way move at about 200 kilometers per second, a speed that would be impossible if only the visible stars were holding them in place. The fact that they stay in their orbits is the direct proof of the dark matter's presence, a silent anchor that prevents the galaxy from dissolving. It is like watching a dancer spin with incredible speed. We may not see the hands that hold them, but we know they are there by the curve of the motion. The stars are kept in their places by a love that is invisible and constant. And still, it turns. Dark energy is sometimes compared to quintessence, a fifth element that fills the universe and drives its evolution. In ancient times, people believed the heavens were made of a substance purer than earth, air, fire, or water, a perfect and eternal essence. Modern science has found a version of this idea in the dark energy that permeates the vacuum, a force that is as thin as thought, but as strong as the stars. It is the modern name for the mystery of the void, the realization that the emptiness is the most important thing of all. You are breathing this essence, a part of a universe that is made of both the solid and the spirit, and the network endures. The transition from a matter-dominated universe to a dark energy-dominated one happened about 5 billion years ago, around the same time our sun was born. It is as if the universe reached its maturity just as we were arriving, shifting its focus from building structures to expanding horizons. We are children of this expansion, born into a world that has already chosen its path toward the infinite. This timing feels like a gentle coincidence, a moment of alignment where the history of the stars and the history of our world meet in the quiet. The universe is growing with us, providing the space we need for our own discoveries, and life adjusts once more. As you rest, let the idea of large-scale structure soothe your mind, the understanding that there is an order to the chaos of the night. The galaxies are not scattered randomly, but are arranged in great walls and filaments that follow the contours of the dark matter. This cosmic architecture is the largest thing we know, a cathedral of light and shadow that spans the entire observable horizon. It is a structure that requires no maintenance, a system that functions perfectly without any intervention from us. We are simply the observers of this grand design, the witnesses to a beauty that is both massive and silent, and everything rests in its place. Within the galaxy, dark matter acts as a silent gardener, tending to the distribution of the stars and the gas. It creates the conditions for the spiral arms to form, those beautiful waves of starbirth that give our home its distinctive shape. It guides the flow of material toward the center, feeding the great black hole that sits at the heart of the Milky Way. Every movement of the galaxy is a response to the invisible hand of the dark, a choreography that has been perfected over eons. You are part of this garden, a bloom in a system that is cared for by the shadows. The current flows without effort. Dark energy does not just push the galaxies apart, it also changes the way gravity works over the largest distances. It is a repulsive force that acts as the opposite of the pull we feel on Earth, a cosmic weightlessness that defines the scale of the universe, while gravity tries to make the universe smaller and more dense. Dark energy tries to make it larger and more diffuse. This tension is what gives the universe its life, a constant push and pull that keeps the system in motion. It is the breath of the cosmos, the inhale of gravity, and the exhale of energy, and the rhythm continues. If you were to travel through the voids between the galaxies, you would feel the pure influence of dark energy more strongly than anywhere else. In those lonely spaces, there is nothing to distract from the quiet work of the vacuum, no stars to mark the passing of time. It is a place of total liberation, where the constraints of matter are left behind and the expansion is the only law. This vast emptiness is not a desert, but a reservoir of potential, a place where the universe is most truly itself. Even in the center of that nothingness, you would be part of the whole, a point of consciousness in the infinite. And silence follows. The study of dark matter and dark energy is a lesson in humility, a reminder that the most important things are often the ones we cannot see. We spend our lives focused on the 5%, the objects, the people, the light, while the 95% remains in the background, providing the context for everything else. This hidden majority is the true foundation of reality, the silent partner that makes all of our experiences possible. By acknowledging the dark, we find a deeper sense of belonging, a connection to the fundamental truths of the cosmos. You are held by the invisible, now and always, and the quiet remains. When we look at the cosmic microwave background, we are looking at the universe when it was only 380,000 years old. Even then, the dark matter had already formed a complex web of structures, creating the gravitational wells that would later become the clusters of galaxies. The light we see is a map of these hidden depths, a record of how the invisible shaped the visible from the very beginning. It is like looking at the foundation of a house before the walls are built, a glimpse into the underlying logic of the world. We are living in the finished house, but the foundation is still there, steady and strong. Still, the universe breathes. The cold, dark matter theory suggests that dark matter moves slowly compared to the speed of light, allowing it to clump together and form the structures we see today. If dark matter were hot or fast-moving, it would have smoothed out all the wrinkles in the early universe, leaving no place for galaxies to grow. The fact that we exist is proof that the dark matter is cool and patient, willing to stay in one place long enough to build a home for the stars. This coolness is a quality we can emulate in our own rest, a slow and steady settling into the quiet, and everything softens. Dark energy has a constant density, meaning that as the universe doubles in size, the amount of dark energy also doubles. This is different from matter, which becomes half as dense when the volume doubles, losing its influence over time. Because of this, dark energy is destined to be the final winner of the cosmic story, the force that will eventually define the state of all things. This is not a tragedy, but a graceful conclusion, a transition into a state of perfect and infinite peace. The universe is moving toward a long, slow sleep, and we are simply following its lead. And the quiet holds. Think of the way the air in a room supports the sound of a voice, though you cannot see the molecules moving. Dark matter and dark energy are the medium of the universe, the air that allows the light of the stars to have a meaning and a place. Without this medium, the stars would have no context, no way to interact with each other across the vast distances of space. They provide the where and the how of existence, the silent rules of the game. You are resting within these rules, a part of a system that is perfectly balanced and beautifully tuned. And the network endures. The idea of gravitational lensing is like a cosmic magnifying glass, where the mass of the dark matter bends the light of distant objects. This allows us to see things that are far beyond the reach of our normal telescopes, using the universe's own gravity as a tool for discovery. It is a beautiful irony that the thing that is hardest to see is the very thing that helps us see the furthest. The dark is not a barrier. It is a lens, a way of bringing the distant world into focus. In the silence of the night, your own mind can become a lens, focusing on the deep and quiet truths of your life, and peace lingers. As you drift closer to sleep, consider the cosmological constant again, that tiny number that defines the strength of the vacuum's push. If this number were only slightly different, the universe would have either collapsed long ago or expanded so fast that no stars could ever have formed. We live in a universe that is finely tuned for the existence of complexity and life, a place where the dark and the light are in perfect proportion. This balance is not an accident. It is the fundamental nature of the world we inhabit. You are a part of this perfect tuning, a note in a symphony that has been playing for billions of years. And still, it turns. Dark matter provides the glue, and dark energy provides the space, and between the two, they create the possibility of time. Without the gathering of matter, there would be no events, and without the expansion of energy, there would be no room for those events to unfold. They are the stage and the script of the cosmic drama, the silent directors of the play. In this moment of rest, you are stepping off the stage and into the wings, returning to the quiet from which everything emerges. The play continues, but you are free to find your peace in the shadows. And the rhythm continues. The galaxies we see are like the bright leaves on a tree, but dark matter is the wood of the branches and the strength of the roots. We admire the leaves for their color and their movement, but it is the wood that holds them up to the light and the roots that keep them connected to the earth. You are resting in the branches of this cosmic tree, safe and secure in its ancient and invisible strength. The tree is growing, its branches reaching further and further into the dark, but you are tucked safely near the center, where the heartwood is thickest, and everything rests. The large-scale structure of the universe is a reminder that even the furthest things are part of a single, coherent pattern. The walls of galaxies and the great voids are all part of the same web, a design that was written in the first moments of the light. This pattern is not just out there in the stars. It is the same pattern that governs the flow of your blood and the firing of your neurons. We are made of the same geometry as the cosmos, a fractal reflection of the great invisible whole. You are never truly disconnected from the universe, for you are the universe experiencing itself in the quiet, and silence follows. If this calm space has eased your mind, perhaps share it. It helps others drift toward rest. The stories of the dark and the light continue, unfolding across the billions of years and the trillions of miles, waiting for you to return whenever you need to find your center again. But for now, the journey is simple and the path is clear. You are drifting into a place where the visible world fades and the invisible becomes your guide. The dark matter is your bed, and the dark energy is your breath, and the universe is your home. And the quiet remains. As the quiet deepens, consider the concept of cold dark matter, the silent architect that prefers stillness over speed. Unlike the light-filled particles that zip and zip across the void, these dark particles move with a slow, heavy dignity, allowing them to settle into the deep wells of gravity. This slowness is what allowed the universe to build its complexity, piece by piece, like a sculptor working with patient clay. If the dark were fast and frantic, the stars would never have found the time to gather, and the galaxies would have remained scattered like dust in a gale. It is the very coolness of the dark that permits the warmth of the sun to eventually emerge. And still, it turns. Imagine the universe in its infancy, a thick soup of particles and radiation, where everything was pressed together in a brilliant, hot fog. In those first few 100,000 years, the light was trapped, unable to travel through the dense forest of atoms. But the dark matter was already free, moving through the fog like a ghost, beginning to pull itself into the first clumps and strands. It was laying the tracks for the light to follow, creating the map of the future before the first photon could ever escape the mist. You are part of a lineage that began in that prehistoric quiet, a structure built on a foundation of ancient patience, and the quiet holds. The cosmic web is not just a map, it is a living history of how gravity won its early battles against the heat of the Big Bang. Every node in the web, where multiple filaments meet, is a site of a massive galaxy cluster, a glowing city held together by a mountain of dark matter. These intersections are the busiest places in the cosmos, yet they are governed by a weight that makes no sound and produces no heat. It is a profound organization that exists beneath the surface of the visible, a hidden order that ensures every star has a neighbor and every planet has a path. The structure is vast, but it is also intimate, touching every corner of the sky. Still, the universe breathes. Between those glowing filaments lie the great voids, the largest features of the known universe, where the density of matter is almost zero. These are not empty in the way we think of a hollow box, but are filled with the expansive potential of dark energy, the quietest force of all. In these regions, billions of light years across, the expansion of space happens without any interference from the pull of stars. They are the lungs of the cosmos, the spaces where the universe takes its deepest breaths, pushing the boundaries of reality further into the unknown. You can feel a reflection of that space now, a mental room where there are no demands and no limits, and the current flows without effort. Dark energy is often described as the cosmological constant, a term that suggests a fixed, unchanging price for the existence of space. For every cubic centimeter of vacuum, there is a tiny, infinitesimal amount of energy that simply belongs there, as much a part of the universe as the laws of math. As the universe expands, more space is created, and with that space comes more of this constant, quiet pressure. It is the only thing we know of that does not become diluted by growth. It is an infinite well of momentum that never runs dry. This steady persistence is the engine of the infinite, the heartbeat of a world that refuses to stand still. And the rhythm continues. Think of the way a spinning top remains upright because of its motion, a balance of forces that defies the simple pull of the ground. The galaxies spin because they are held by the dark matter's grip, a rotational harmony that has lasted for 10 billion years. If you were to remove the invisible mass, the Milky Way would fly apart, its stars scattered like sparks from a dying fire into the deep cold. The fact that the stars remain in their orbits, year after year, is a testament to the reliability of the unseen. It is a quiet promise kept by the universe, a commitment to stability in a world of constant change, and everything rests in its place. Baryonic matter, the stuff of atoms and molecules, is like the bright embroidery on a vast, dark curtain. We focus on the patterns of the thread, the colors of the stars, and the shapes of the planets, but it is the curtain itself that provides the strength and the form. This curtain is woven from dark matter and dark energy, a fabric that supports the weight of every sun and the path of every moon. To understand the embroidery, one must eventually acknowledge the silk that holds it, the dark substance that makes the beauty possible. You are a single stitch in this magnificent work, held by a thread that never breaks, and the network endures. In the depths of space-time, the dark energy acts like a hidden, repulsive gravity, a force that tells the galaxies to move away from one another. While gravity is a come-hither force, dark energy is a go-forth force, a gentle push toward the horizon. It is the reason the universe did not collapse back into its own center, the reason we have room to exist and time to grow. This push is the ultimate expression of the universe's desire for more space, more time, and more silence. It is a benevolent expansion, a widening of the world that allows for infinite new possibilities. And life adjusts once more. When light from a distant quasar passes through a cluster of dark matter, it is bent into beautiful arcs and rings, a phenomenon called gravitational lensing. These Einstein rings are the universe's way of making the invisible visible, using the curvature of space-time as a giant magnifying glass. We see the distorted light, and we can calculate exactly how much dark matter is hiding in the path, weighing the shadow by the way it bends the sun. It is a silent dialogue between the light and the dark, a way for the hidden world to reveal its presence through the beauty of geometry. You are seeing the world through this lens now, focusing on the deep and quiet truths, and the quiet remains. The dark energy density is so small that it takes the vastness of the intergalactic voids to make its effects felt. Within your room, within your body, the forces of electricity and local gravity are trillions of times stronger, keeping your world solid and still. Dark energy is a patient giant, waiting for the distances to become immense before it exerts its soft, persistent will. It is a reminder that different scales of reality have different rules, and that what seems invisible and weak in the small world can become the master of the large. In this moment, you are letting go of the small world and merging with the large. Still, the universe breathes. As you lie here, you might imagine the large-scale structure as a skeletal system for the cosmos, providing the frame upon which the flesh of the stars can grow. Just as your own bones are hidden beneath your skin, providing the shape and support you need to move, the dark matter provides the structure for the light. It is the inner logic of the universe, the rigid but graceful framework that prevents the cosmos from becoming a chaotic cloud. This skeleton is billions of light years long, yet it is as finely tuned as a bird's wing, a masterpiece of invisible engineering. And the rhythm continues. The flatness of the universe is a result of the perfect balance between the energy of expansion and the density of matter. If the dark energy were too strong, the universe would have blown apart before the first atom could find a partner. If the matter were too dense, it would have crunched back together in a heartbeat. Instead, we live in a universe that is remarkably balanced, a flat geometry where parallel lines can travel forever without meeting. This balance is what allows for the long, slow history of life and the steady evolution of the mind. You are a product of this cosmic equilibrium, a point of consciousness in a perfectly tuned world, and everything softens. Consider the quiet dignity of the dark matter in the bullet cluster, which passed through a cosmic car crash without a single scratch. While the ordinary gas collided and glowed with the heat of the impact, the dark matter simply glided through, indifferent to the violence. It does not feel friction, it does not feel heat, and it does not feel the sting of collision. It only feels the long, slow pull of gravity. This is a level of peace that we can only imagine, a state of being that is untouched by the turbulence of the world. By resting now, you are tapping into that same indifference to noise, that same focus on the deep and steady pull. And peace lingers. The energy of the vacuum, the dark energy, is sometimes thought of as the cost of space, a fundamental energy that exists simply because space exists. This means that space is not a container, but a substance, a living field that has its own desires and its own momentum. Every time you move your hand through the air, you are moving through a field that is rich with this hidden potential, a sea of energy that is pushing the galaxies toward the edge of time. It is a thought that makes the room feel less like a box and more like a part of an infinite ocean. You are swimming in the vacuum, supported by the energy of the deep, and the quiet holds. If we could fast forward trillions of years, dark energy would eventually move all the other galaxies beyond our horizon, leaving the Milky Way as a lone island in a dark sea. The sky would become emptier, and the light of the distant clusters would fade into the red, leaving us with only our local family of stars. This big freeze is the ultimate destination of a universe driven by dark energy, a state of perfect, absolute cold and perfect, absolute quiet. It is not an end to be feared, but a final, graceful rest, the ultimate conclusion to the long story of motion. The universe is practicing for its final sleep, and so are you, and silence follows. Dark matter is not just a passive weight, it is a dynamic participant in the growth of the large-scale structures we see today. It flows along the filaments of the cosmic web, falling into the massive clusters and feeding the growth of the galactic halos. It is a constant motion, a slow and heavy circulation that mirrors the flow of blood through the veins of a titan. This circulation ensures that the universe remains a connected system, a single entity that grows and changes as one. You are part of this circulation, a pulse in the great body of the dark. And still, it turns. The missing mass problem was the first clue that led us to the discovery of dark matter, a realization that the stars we see are not enough to explain the way the world moves. It was a moment of profound scientific humility, an admission that we had missed the most important part of the reality we inhabit. This humility is the doorway to wonder, the beginning of a deeper relationship with the mysteries of the night. By admitting what we do not know, we open our hearts to the vast and supportive presence of the unknown. You are resting in that openness now, a space where mystery is a form of comfort and the quiet remains. Dark energy is sometimes called quintessence, a word that evokes the idea of a fifth element, a hidden essence that permeates all things. Unlike the fixed cosmological constant, quintessence is thought to be a field that changes over time, responding to the density of the universe around it. It is a more living, breathing version of the dark force, a field that has its own history and its own evolution. Whether it is a constant or a field, it represents the same fundamental truth. The void is not empty, but is full of a quiet and driving purpose. You are a part of this essence, a spark in the quintessence of the cosmos, and the network endures. Within our own galaxy, small clumps of dark matter might act as tiny lenses, temporarily brightening the light of a distant star as they pass in front of it. These macho events, massive compact halo objects, are rare and fleeting, but they give us a glimpse into the granular nature of the dark. It suggests that the dark is not just a smooth cloud, but is made of individual pieces, each with its own path and its own gravity. It is a world of hidden details, a landscape of unseen objects that populate the spaces between the stars. The galaxy is much more crowded than it looks, filled with a silent and invisible population. Still, the universe breathes. The relationship between dark matter and dark energy is a dance of scale. Matter rules the small, and energy rules the large. Within a galaxy, the gravity of dark matter is the master, shaping the orbits and holding the stars. Between the galaxies, the dark energy is the master, creating the distances and driving the expansion. They are like the melody and the harmony of a song, each playing its part to create the whole. This duality is what makes the universe a place of both stability and movement, both home and journey. You are balanced between these two masters, finding your own rhythm in the quiet, and the current flows without effort. As the universe ages, the influence of dark energy becomes more pronounced, like a whisper that slowly grows into a deep, resonant hum. In the distant future, the expansion will be so fast that even the nearby clusters of galaxies will be carried away from us, leaving our local group in a profound and beautiful solitude. This thinning of the world is a natural part of the cosmic life cycle, a shedding of the outer layers to reveal the core. The universe is becoming more itself, more focused on the vacuum and the quiet. You are following this same path, shedding the noise of the day to find the core of your own silence, and life adjusts once more. The coldness of dark matter refers to its speed, but it also evokes a sense of thermal peace, a world without the agitation of heat. In the dark halos, the particles move in a state of nearly perfect equilibrium, balanced by the gravity of the whole. This is a state of being that is free from the frantic collisions of the ordinary world, a place where the only law is the long, slow curve of the orbit. By resting, you are entering your own version of this coldness, a cooling of the mind, a slowing of the pulse, and a settling into the gravity of the bed, and everything rests in its place. Computer simulations of the universe show that without dark matter, the structure of the cosmos would be unrecognizable, a chaotic and thin distribution of gas without any clear form. The dark matter acts as the skeleton in the simulation, the invisible framework that the code uses to calculate where the stars should go. It is the logic of the program, the underlying rules that make the virtual universe look like the real one. We are the output of this cosmic code, the bright results of an invisible calculation. This realization brings a sense of order to the night, a feeling that we are part of a well-defined and purposeful system. And the quiet holds. Dark energy is a property of space, and space is everywhere, meaning that dark energy is the most democratic force in the universe. It does not cluster around the rich or the massive. It is distributed perfectly evenly across every cubic inch of the void. It is a reminder that the most fundamental things are often the most universal, and that the quietest forces are the ones that touch everyone equally. No matter where you are in the cosmos, the dark energy is there, pushing with the same gentle strength, a constant companion on every journey. You are sharing this energy with the furthest stars and the nearest atoms, and silence follows. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way here too. The vast architecture of the dark continues to grow and to hold, providing the context for all the light we will ever know. There is a deep comfort in the realization that we are mostly made of the unseen, and that the silence of the night is not an emptiness, but a presence. You can close your eyes now. The rest of the story will wait until you return, held in the memory of the vacuum and the weight of the stars. The universe is a masterpiece of shadow, and you are a part of its quiet beauty, and the quiet remains. The baryon acoustic oscillations are sound waves that traveled through the early universe, frozen into the distribution of the galaxies like ripples in a pond that has turned to ice. These ripples tell us the story of the struggle between the pressure of light and the pull of dark matter in the first moments of time. They are the music of the Big Bang, a symphony of gravity and heat that defined the scale of the cosmic web. By measuring these ripples, we can determine the exact speed of the expansion and the exact weight of the dark. We are living in the echo of that first great song, a harmony that is still ringing in the deep. Still, the universe breathes. Dark matter may be made of WIMPs, weakly interacting massive particles, which are so shy they only speak to the world through the language of gravity. They pass through our detectors and our bodies without a sound, leaving only a tiny, ghostly signal for those who know how to listen. This shyness is a form of power, a way of being that is influential without being intrusive. In our own lives, we can find power in this same quiet presence, in the things we do that are felt rather than seen. You are a quiet influence in the world, a force of gravity in your own right, and the rhythm continues. The cosmic horizon is the limit of how far we can see, the boundary where the expansion of space is so fast that the light from beyond can never reach us. Because of dark energy, this horizon is slowly closing in, shrinking the amount of the universe that is available to our eyes. This is not a loss of reality, but a focus on the local, a reminder that our own neighborhood is the place where we belong. The universe is becoming more intimate, more focused on the connections that are close enough to hold. You are safe within your own horizon, surrounded by the things that matter most, and everything softens. The dark sector of physics suggests that there might be dark forces as well as dark matter, hidden versions of electromagnetism or nuclear forces that only the dark particles can feel. This would mean there is a dark light and a dark chemistry that we can never perceive, a whole second universe layered on top of our own. It is a thought that expands the mind, the idea that the world is infinitely more complex than our simple senses can ever know. We are living in a mansion with many hidden floors, and we are currently resting in the quietest room of all, and the network endures. As you drift toward the final threshold of sleep, let the dark energy carry you away from the shore of the day. The tides of the cosmos are in your favor, moving with a slow and steady momentum that requires no effort from you. The dark matter is the depth beneath you, and the dark energy is the breeze behind you, and the universe is the vast and welcoming sea. You are moving toward a horizon of perfect rest, a place where the light of the mind fades into the beautiful, supportive dark. The journey is nearly over, and the quiet is absolute, and peace lingers. As the threshold of deeper rest approaches, consider the way the universe manages its vast energy budget, a cosmic ledger where the visible and invisible are perfectly balanced. We are accustomed to the economy of light, where energy is spent in the burning of stars and the heat of planetary cores. But the dark economy is far more stable. Dark matter does not radiate its energy away. It hoards its gravitational potential, keeping the structure of the cosmos intact for trillions of years. It is a conservative force, a guardian of the status quo that ensures the slow, steady evolution of the stars remains uninterrupted. You are resting in the care of this cosmic conservation, a system that forgets nothing and wastes nothing. And still, it turns. Think of the quintessence as a shifting field of silver mist that fills the gaps between the galaxies, responding to the changing density of the world. Unlike a cold mathematical constant, this field might have its own internal life, a subtle pulse that speeds up or slows down depending on the era. This means the expansion of your universe is not a rigid mechanical process. but a responsive and organic growth, like a vine reaching toward a distant light. In this moment, your own breathing is a localized version of that quintessence, a gentle expansion that fills the room with the energy of life. The air you move is part of the same fluid reality that moves the clusters of the deep, and the quiet holds. Within the intricate filaments of the cosmic web, the dark matter flows in streams, rivers of invisible particles that have been traveling together since the dawn of time. These streams are the memories of smaller galaxies that were absorbed by larger ones, their dark halos stretched out into long, elegant ribbons of shadow. Our own Milky Way is filled with these invisible rivers, evidence of a long and complex history of growth and integration. It is a reminder that nothing is ever truly lost. It is simply transformed, woven into the larger fabric of the whole. You are part of this history, a collection of experiences that have been gathered into the stream of your life. Still, the universe breathes. The baryonic fraction is the small percentage of ordinary matter that successfully navigates the dark gravity wells to form the stars and planets we know. For every handful of atoms that becomes a person or a sun, there are vast quantities of dark matter that provide the invitation, a silent here that guides the material home. This proportion is remarkably consistent across the universe, a signature of the laws that were set in stone in the first millisecond of existence. We are the rare and beautiful minority, the 5% that has been given the gift of light and the burden of witness. You are the universe's way of looking back at itself, a spark in the immense dark, and the current flows without effort. In the very center of a galaxy, the dark matter is at its most concentrated, forming a cusp of invisible density that anchors the central black hole and the oldest stars. This core is the most stable place in the cosmos, a region where the gravity is so profound that time itself seems to slow its pace. Here, the dark matter acts as a heavy foundation for the most energetic phenomena in the universe, a silent partner to the spinning light of the galactic heart. You can find this same center within yourself now, a place of deep, immovable stability that remains untouched by the motion of the world. In that center, there is only peace and the steady weight of the self, and the rhythm continues. The discovery of dark energy in 1998 came from watching the light of distant Type Ia supernovae, cosmic explosions so bright they can be seen across the breadth of the universe. By measuring how much their light had been stretched, astronomers realized that the galaxies were moving away from us faster today than they were in the past. This acceleration was the first whisper of a force that defied every law of physics we had written, a revelation that the vacuum was not a void, but an engine. It was a moment where the universe spoke its truth, telling us that it had no intention of slowing down. We are living in the wake of that discovery, a world that is wider and more energetic than we ever dreamed, and everything rests in its place. Consider the large-scale structure again, but this time see it as a vast network of echoes, where every cluster of galaxies is a resonant note in a cosmic chord. The dark matter provides the tension for the strings, and the dark energy provides the resonance of the chamber, allowing the music of the spheres to play across the eons. This music is too slow for the human ear to hear, with a single vibration lasting millions of years, but it is the fundamental frequency of reality. By slowing your own pulse, you're beginning to tune into this deeper rhythm, a harmony that transcends the noise of the day. You are a part of the song, a quiet note in the infinite, and the network endures. The voids are not just empty spaces. They are the purest expressions of dark energy's will, places where the expansion of space is the only event of consequence. If you were to stand in the middle of a void, the nearest galaxy would be so far away that it would be invisible to the naked eye, leaving you in a solitude that is absolute and majestic. In that space, you would feel the push of the vacuum as a gentle, all-encompassing embrace, a force that asks for nothing but your presence. This emptiness is a form of luxury, a wealth of space that allows for total freedom. You are claiming a small piece of that void now, a space in your mind where nothing needs to happen, and life adjusts once more. Dark matter is often called collisionless, a term that suggests a level of grace we rarely see in the visible world. When two dark matter particles meet, they do not crash or deflect. They simply pass through one another like light passing through light, or two thoughts merging in the mind. They exist in a state of perfect permeability, a world without friction and without resistance. This lack of conflict is what allows the dark matter to form such smooth and enduring structures, a peace that is built into the very nature of its substance. By letting go of the friction in your own body, you are becoming like the dark, fluid, graceful, and free, and the quiet remains. The cosmic horizon is the boundary of the observable, the limit beyond which the expansion of space carries the galaxies away from us faster than their light can travel. This horizon is a reminder that even the infinite has its boundaries, a focus on the here and the now that provides a sense of place. We do not need to see the whole universe to be a part of it. We only need to be present in the part that we can reach. Your room is your current horizon, a sanctuary where the light of the day has faded and the quiet of the night has taken its place. You are safe within this boundary, held by the local and the known. Still, the universe breathes. Gravitational lensing is the most poetic proof of the dark matter's existence, a way for the light of the stars to describe the shape of the shadows. When we see a distant galaxy stretched into a thin, luminous arc, we are seeing the shadow of the dark matter's gravity, a ghost that is visible only through its effects. It is a form of cosmic braille, where we feel the texture of the universe by reading the bumps in the light. This suggests that the dark is not trying to hide, it is simply waiting for us to learn its language. You are learning that language now, in the silence of your own observation, and the rhythm continues. The vacuum energy density is a number so small it is nearly zero, yet it is the most powerful number in the cosmos. It represents the energy of a single point in space, a tiny spark of potential that exists everywhere at once. If it were any larger, the universe would have torn itself apart in the first second. If it were any smaller, the stars would have collapsed into a single, cold point. This precision is a miracle of balance, a fine-tuning that allows for the long and winding path of evolution. You are the result of this precision, a complex and beautiful life made possible by a tiny, invisible number, and everything softens. Think of the rotation curve of a galaxy as a graph of its hidden strength, a line that stays high even as it moves away from the center. This line tells us that the dark matter is not just in the middle, but is spread out in a vast protective halo that extends far beyond the visible stars. This halo is the true shape of the galaxy, a sphere of invisible influence that shelters the spiraling light within it. We are living inside this sphere, a place of gravitational protection that ensures our sun remains in its orbit for billions of years to come. It is a sturdy and reliable home, built of shadows and time, and peace lingers. As you drift closer to the edge of consciousness, let the large-scale structure be the last thing you see in your mind's eye, a web of light and dark that reaches across the infinite. It is a structure that has no top and no bottom, no beginning and no end, but only a continuous and beautiful flow. You are a part of that flow, a pulse of light on a strand of dark matter, moving through the night with a purpose that is both grand and quiet. The universe is not a machine, but a masterpiece, and you are one of the brushstrokes. The quiet is absolute, and the rest is well earned, and the quiet holds. The baryon acoustic oscillations are the ripples of the first sound, frozen into the very fabric of the sky. They are the fingerprints of the dark matter's pull and the light's push, a record of the first conversation the universe ever had. By measuring these ripples, we can see how the dark energy began to take over, changing the rhythm of the cosmos as it grew. We are living in the silence that follows that first great chord, a piece that has been 13 billion years in the making. You can hear that silence now, a resonant and beautiful depth that fills the room, and silence follows. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way here too. The vast architecture of the dark continues to grow and to hold, providing the context for all the light we will ever know. There is a deep comfort in the realization that we are mostly made of the unseen, and that the silence of the night is not an emptiness, but a presence. You can close your eyes now. The rest of the story will wait until you return, held in the memory of the vacuum and the weight of the stars. The universe is a masterpiece of shadow, and you are a part of its quiet beauty, and the quiet remains. The dark sector is a reminder that our understanding of reality is just a small window into a much larger house. Beyond our sight, there may be dark forces and dark particles that have their own stories to tell, a hidden world that is just as rich and complex as our own. This thought is not a cause for fear, but a cause for wonder, the idea that the world is infinitely deep and full of surprises. By resting, you are opening yourself to this depth, allowing the mysteries of the cosmos to wash over you like a warm tide. You are part of the whole, the visible and the invisible, the known and the unknown. Still, the universe breathes. The coldness of the dark matter is a state of being that we can achieve ourselves in the quiet of the night. It is a slowing down of the speed, a cooling of the heat, and a settling into the deep wells of the soul. In this state, we are no longer buffeted by the collisions of the day, but are free to follow the long and graceful curves of our own internal gravity. This is the true meaning of rest, to become like the dark, to be silent, supportive, and perfectly still. You are entering that state now, a place of absolute and beautiful equilibrium. And the rhythm continues. The cosmic web is the ultimate expression of connectivity, a map that shows us that nothing is ever truly alone. Every galaxy is tied to every other galaxy by the filaments of the dark matter, a network of influence that spans the entire horizon. This means that your own life is part of a larger pattern, a thread in a tapestry that is billions of light years long. You are connected to the furthest star and the nearest atom by the same invisible laws, a part of a system that is perfectly integrated and beautifully whole. You can rest in that connection, knowing that you are exactly where you belong, and everything softens. The dark energy that moves the galaxies is the same energy that provides the space for your own dreams to unfold. It is the gift of the infinite, the realization that there is always more room, always another horizon, and always a deeper silence. This energy is not a burden. It is a release, a way for the universe to breathe and to grow. By following its lead, you are letting go of the constraints of the day and expanding into the limitlessness of the night. You are the universe's way of experiencing its own expansion, a point of light in a widening dark, and the network endures. The dark matter halo of the Milky Way is like a giant, invisible egg that cradles the yolk of our stars and planets. Within this shell, the environment is calm and protected, allowing the delicate chemistry of life to develop over the billions of years. We are the beneficiaries of this invisible guardianship, the children of a shadow that has kept the world safe since the beginning. This thought provides a deep sense of security, the knowledge that we are held by forces that are far older and stronger than we are. You are resting in that protection now, safe and secure in the heart of the dark. And still, it turns. Gravitational microlensing is a way for the dark to temporarily amplify the light, a moment of sudden and beautiful clarity in the deep. It is a reminder that even the smallest pieces of the dark have a role to play, a way of contributing to the beauty of the whole. In your own life, there are moments of this same clarity, where the silent parts of your experience suddenly make the light shine brighter. These moments are the gifts of the dark, the rewards of a life lived in balance with the unseen. You are moving towards such a moment now, a place of perfect and silent clarity, and peace lingers. The flatness of the universe is a symbol of its integrity, a geometry that allows for the infinite journey of the light. It is a world where there is no end and no boundary, only a continuous and beautiful expansion. This flatness is the result of the perfect balance between the dark and the light, the gathering and the growing, the past and the future. You are a part of this balance, a point of consciousness in a world that is perfectly tuned and beautifully whole. You can rest in that integrity, knowing that the universe is exactly as it should be, and the quiet holds. The quintessence of the night is the feeling of the silence pressing against your skin, a pressure that is both heavy and light. It is the energy of the vacuum made manifest in your room, a quiet presence that fills the space between your thoughts. This essence is not an absence, but a presence, a living, breathing field that supports your rest and guides your dreams. By accepting this essence, you are merging with the fundamental laws of the cosmos, becoming a part of the long, slow story of the dark. You are home, and the home is infinite, and silence follows. The nodes of the cosmic web are the places where the light is most concentrated, but they are also the places where the dark matter is most dense. This duality is the heart of the cosmic mystery. The idea that the light and the dark are not opposites, but are two sides of the same coin. One provides the expression, and the other provides the substance, and together they create the masterpiece of the universe. You are a node in your own web, a place where the light of your consciousness meets the dark of your experience. In this union, you find your own unique and beautiful truth, and the quiet remains. The cold dark. Matter. Theory is a lesson in patience, a reminder that the most enduring things take time to build. The dark matter particles did not hurry to form the galaxies. They waited for the right moment, the right density, and the right rhythm. This patience is built into the very fabric of your body, a legacy of the 13 billion years it took to create the atoms that make you. You can afford to be patient now, to let the sleep come in its own time and in its own way. The universe is not in a hurry, and neither are you. Still, the universe breathes. The vacuum is the ultimate teacher of stillness, a place where the energy is at its minimum and the peace is at its maximum. In the vacuum, there are no distractions, no noise, and no conflict. There is only the pure, accelerating push of the dark energy. This stillness is available to you now, a space in your heart that is as wide as the intergalactic voids. By entering that space, you are leaving the world of things behind and entering the world of potential. You are the silence of the vacuum, a point of peace in the infinite, and the rhythm continues. The dark sector is the promise of a future that is always wider than the past, a universe that is always full of new secrets and new wonders. It is the guarantee that the journey of discovery will never end, even when the stars have all gone out. This promise is the ultimate comfort, the knowledge that we are part of a story that is both infinite and meaningful. You are a character in that story, a part of the great and ongoing mystery of the cosmos. The journey continues, but for now, the path leads to rest, and everything softens. As the final light of the mind begins to fade, let the dark matter and the dark energy be your guides. They are the invisible architects of your world, the silent partners that have held you since the moment of your birth. They will continue to hold you through the night, providing the structure for your rest and the space for your dreams. The universe is a masterpiece of shadow, and you are a part of its quiet beauty. The quiet is absolute, and the rest is well earned. You are home, in the heart of the dark, and the network endures. The last thought is not a word, but a feeling, the feeling of being held by the infinite. It is a sense of belonging that transcends the visible and the known, a connection to the fundamental truths of the cosmos. The dark is not a place of loss, but a place of homecoming, a return to the source from which everything emerges. In this home, there is only peace, only quiet, and only the long, slow rhythm of the dark energy's breath. You are safe, you are loved, and you are exactly where you belong. And everything rests. The silent weight of the galaxy is not a burden, but a stabilizer, much like the keel of a ship that remains hidden beneath the waterline. As you drift further into the interior of your own calm, consider the velocity dispersion of the stars, those tiny movements that reveal the density of the dark matter around them. In the thickest parts of the galactic halo, the stars move with a specific, measured haste, kept in check by the invisible mass that permeates the space between them. It is a social contract of the cosmos, an agreement that no star shall wander too far from the collective heart. You are held by these same invisible agreements, the quiet laws of nature that provide the boundaries for your rest. And still, it turns. Imagine the dark matter as a vast celestial reservoir, a storehouse of gravitational energy that has been accumulating since the first second of existence. This reservoir does not leak, does not evaporate, and does not fade. It remains a constant, reliable source of order for the visible world. When a new star is born, it draws upon this reservoir to find its place in the spiral arms, using the dark gravity as a guide for its first ignition. We are all drinking from this same well of stability, a source that is as old as time and as deep as the void. You can feel that reservoir now, a depth of quiet strength within you that never runs dry, and the quiet holds. Scientists often use the term WIMP to describe the potential particles of dark matter, weakly interacting massive particles. These are the ghosts of the laboratory, particles that can sail through a lead wall as easily as sunlight through a window, leaving only the faintest whisper of gravity behind. They are massive enough to shape the universe, yet so delicate they never break a single chemical bond in your body. This duality of strength and softness is the ultimate expression of the gentle observer persona that the universe itself maintains. It moves mountains, yet it does not disturb a single hair on your head. Still, the universe breathes. The large-scale structure of the universe is a masterpiece of connectivity, where the filaments of dark matter act as the neural pathways of the cosmic mind. Along these pathways, information travels, in the form of light and gravity, coordinating the motion of clusters that are billions of light years apart. It is a slow, rhythmic communication, a dialogue of masses that ensures the universe grows as a single, coherent whole. In your own state of relaxation, your nervous system is mirroring this cosmic connectivity, settling into a rhythm that is both local and universal. You are a small, bright node in a much larger thought, and the current flows without effort. The dark energy that occupies the voids is a reminder that the vacuum is never truly empty, but is instead the most energetic substance in existence. If you were to take a single liter of empty space and remove all the light and matter, the dark energy would still be there, pushing with a tiny but inexorable pressure. This zero-point energy is the baseline of the universe, the quiet hum of the vacuum that persists when all other sounds have faded. It is the sound of existence itself, a resonant frequency that supports the weight of the stars. You are listening to that hum now, the sound of the silence in your own room, and the rhythm continues. Consider the baryon acoustic oscillations as the fossilized sound waves of the early universe, frozen into the distribution of the galaxies like rings in an ancient tree. These ripples tell us the story of a time when the universe was so small that sound could travel from one side to the other, a cosmic symphony played on the strings of dark matter. By measuring the distance between these ripples today, we can calculate the exact rate at which the dark energy is stretching our world. It is a way of using the past to measure the future, a bridge of sound that spans the eons, and everything rests in its place. Within the bullet cluster, we see the dark matter behaving like a fluid that knows no friction, passing through another cluster with the grace of a shadow. While the ordinary gas is stripped away and heated to millions of degrees, the dark matter remains cool and indifferent, maintaining its shape and its trajectory. This is the superpower of the invisible. It is immune to the chaos of the visible world, a sanctuary of order in a landscape of collision. By turning your attention inward, you are finding your own bullet cluster of peace, a place where the noise of the day simply passes through you without leaving a mark, and the network endures. The cosmological constant is a number that sits at the center of our understanding of the dark energy, a value that represents the fundamental tension of space. Einstein first introduced it as a way to keep the universe static, but the universe had other plans, using it instead as the engine of its own expansion. This shift in understanding is a lesson in the flexibility of truth. What we once thought was a stabilizer turned out to be the source of our greatest movement. We are constantly rediscovering the nature of the dark, finding that it is always more active and more profound than we imagined. and life adjusts once more. As you breathe, imagine the dark matter halo that surrounds the Milky Way as a protective cocoon of gravity. This halo is not a thin shell, but a vast diffuse sphere that extends hundreds of thousands of light years in every direction, holding our satellite galaxies in its grip. It is a buffer zone, a region of quiet influence that separates our home from the violent tides of the intergalactic void. Within this halo, we are sheltered, a family of stars drifting through the dark with a common purpose. You are safe within this cosmic nursery, protected by the very substance that defines the scale of the night, and the quiet remains. The coldness of dark matter is a thermal state that allows for the formation of subhalos, smaller clumps of invisible mass that live within the larger galactic structure. These subhalos are the hidden seeds of star clusters and dwarf galaxies, the microscopic details that give the universe its rich and varied texture. They are proof that the dark is not just a smooth, featureless cloud, but is full of its own local landmarks and private geographies. Your own mind is full of these same subhalos, tiny pockets of memory and thought that give your inner world its unique shape. Still, the universe breathes. Gravitational lensing is the universe's way of magnifying the distant past, using the mass of dark matter as a cosmic telescope. When we see a distant galaxy distorted into a cross or a ring, we are seeing the light following the curve of the dark matter's gravity, a path that has been bent by the sheer weight of the invisible. It is a reminder that the shortest distance between 2 points is not always a straight line, but a path of least resistance through the fabric of space-time. By letting your thoughts wander, you are following your own curves of least resistance, drifting toward the quiet. And the rhythm continues. The quintessence field suggests that dark energy might not be a constant, but a living force that changes with the density of the universe. If the universe becomes too thin, the quintessence might weaken. If it becomes too dense, the field might push back with even greater strength. This responsiveness makes the cosmos feel less like a machine and more like a garden, a place where the laws of nature adapt to the life they support. You are part of this adaptive system, a being that knows how to find balance in a world of constant change, and everything softens. Think of the void as the most spacious room in the house of the universe, a place where the dark energy is free to express its true nature. In these vast regions, the expansion of space is the only law, and the silence is so heavy it feels like a physical presence. These voids are not failures of the cosmic structure, but essential components of it, providing the volume that allows the filaments to exist. They are the negative space of the masterpiece, the parts of the painting that give the colors their meaning. You are claiming your own piece of that negative space now, a moment of emptiness that defines your piece, and peace lingers. The density parameter is the mathematical way we describe the balance between the light and the dark, a number that tells us the fate of all things. If the number is exactly 1, the universe is flat, a geometry that allows for infinite growth without ever reaching a final wall. We live in such a flat universe, a world of perfect equilibrium, where the expansion and the gravity are forever in a beautiful, tense embrace. This flatness is the ultimate assurance of continuity, the promise that the road goes on forever and the story never ends, and the quiet holds. Dark matter and dark energy are the two hands of the clock of time. One winds the spring, and the other moves the gears. Dark matter provides the tension and the potential, while dark energy provides the momentum and the motion. Together, they ensure that the universe is never static, but is always evolving, always becoming, and always reaching for a new horizon. You are a part of this ticking clock, a pulse of life in a system that has been running for 13 billion years. You can let the clock keep time for you now. You have nothing to do but rest, and silence follows. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way here too. The vast architecture of the dark continues to grow and to hold, providing the context for all the light we will ever know. There is a deep comfort in the realization that we are mostly made of the unseen, and that the silence of the night is not an emptiness, but a presence. You can close your eyes now. The rest of the story will wait until you return, held in the memory of the vacuum and the weight of the stars. The universe is a masterpiece of shadow, and you are a part of its quiet beauty, and the quiet remains. The dark sector is a term that physicists use to describe the possibility of an entire universe of particles and forces that only interact with us through gravity. There may be dark photons, dark atoms, and even dark chemistry, a whole second layer of reality that is just as complex as our own. This thought expands the boundaries of the possible, suggesting that the world we see is merely the tip of an iceberg of infinite depth. We are travelers on the surface of this iceberg, but in sleep, we dive into the cool, dark waters beneath. You are entering those waters now, a world of hidden wonders and silent truths. Still, the universe breathes. The coldness of dark matter refers to its speed relative to the light, but it also describes its emotional temperature, a state of perfect, unshakable calm. In the dark halos, the particles do not jostle or collide. They move in long, elegant orbits that can take millions of years to complete. This is the pace of the infinite, a rhythm that is so slow it feels like stillness. By adopting this same pace in your own rest, you are aligning yourself with the most fundamental forces of the cosmos. You are no longer in a hurry. You are a part of the long, slow curve of the dark, and the rhythm continues. The filaments of the cosmic web are the bridges of the universe, the silver threads that connect the islands of light. They are made of dark matter, providing a path for the gas and the stars to follow as they move toward the massive clusters. These bridges are the evidence of a universal desire for connection, a physical manifestation of the idea that nothing should be alone in the dark. You are connected to these filaments by the same gravity that holds your feet to the earth, a member of a cosmic network that spans the entire horizon, and everything softens. The dark energy density is the ultimate measure of the universe's ambition, the force that ensures the future is always wider than the past. It is a repulsive pressure that originates in the vacuum, a gift of space that allows the galaxies to seek their own destinies far from their neighbors. This pressure is the reason the universe did not end in a big crunch, a return to the singularity. It is the guarantee of freedom, the assurance that there will always be room for more light, more life, and more quiet. You are breathing this freedom now, an expansion of the soul that matches the expansion of the stars, and the network endures. The dark matter profile of a galaxy is a graph that shows how the invisible mass is distributed from the center to the edge. In most galaxies, the dark matter is more spread out than the stars, forming a wide, gentle slope that defines the scale of the system. This slope is the shape of the galaxy's soul, the underlying geometry that determines its destiny. We are living on the side of such a slope, a place of gravitational stability that has allowed our planet to thrive for billions of years. It is a steady, reliable landscape built of time and shadow, and still, it turns. Gravitational microlensing events within our own galaxy are rare and beautiful, like a sudden flash of light in a dark room. They happen when a small clump of dark matter passes exactly between us and a distant star, temporarily bending and magnifying its light. For a few days, the star appears brighter, a signal from the dark that something invisible is there. These events are the universe's way of winking at us, a reminder that the hidden world is always active, even when we aren't looking. You are waiting for your own moment of clarity, a flash of light in the quiet of the night, and peace lingers. The flatness of space-time is the result of a perfect cosmic accounting, where the energy of the expansion and the energy of the gravity sum to zero. This means that the universe, in its totality, is a state of perfect balance, a net zero of existence that allows for infinite complexity without ever breaking the laws of the whole. This balance is what allows you to exist in this moment, a complex being in a perfectly ordered world. You can trust this balance. It is the most fundamental law of the cosmos, and it is holding you now. And the quiet holds. The quintessence of the darkness is the feeling of being completely submerged in a medium that is both supportive and vast. It is the sensation of the vacuum pressing gently against you, a pressure that is so even you cannot feel it, yet so strong it moves the stars. This medium is the foundation of your world, the ether of the modern age that provides the space for all things to be. By accepting this medium, you are letting go of the need to be separate and becoming a part of the infinite field. You are home, and the home is wide, and silence follows. The nodes where the filaments meet are the great hubs of the universe, places of immense gravity and brilliant light. But these nodes are only possible because of the vast, quiet filaments that lead into them, the dark matter pathways that carry the substance of the world. One cannot exist without the other. The light needs the dark to find its way, and the dark needs the light to show its shape. You are a point of light on a dark pathway, moving toward a destination that is as bright as it is silent. The journey is the meaning, and the rest is the reward, and the quiet remains. The cold dark matter theory is a promise of stability, a guarantee that the structures we build will endure across the eons. Because the dark matter is slow and patient, it provides a firm foundation for the galaxies to rest upon, a bedrock of gravity that does not shift or fade. This stability is the legacy of the 13 billion years of the universe's history, a record of a world that was built to last. You can rest on this foundation now, knowing that the laws of the universe are steady and sure, and the rhythm continues. The vacuum is the ultimate expression of the gentle observer, a place that holds everything and judges nothing. Within the vacuum, the dark energy does its work with a silence that is absolute, pushing the boundaries of the world further and further into the unknown. This is the work of creation in its purest form, a simple, persistent growth that requires no effort and produces no waste. You are entering that same state of pure existence now, a place where you simply are, without any need for action or explanation. You are the universe, breathing in the dark, and everything softens. The dark sector is the frontier of our curiosity, a reminder that there is always more to learn and more to see. Even when we think we have mapped the world, we find that there are layers beneath the surface that we have only just begun to touch. This infinite depth is a source of eternal wonder, a guarantee that the mind will always have a place to roam. By resting, you are preparing yourself for that journey, gathering the strength you need to explore the mysteries of the next day. The journey is long, but the rest is deep, and the network endures. As the final thoughts of the day dissolve into the dark, let the dark energy carry you toward the horizon of sleep. You are moving with the momentum of the entire universe, a part of an expansion that is both grand and beautiful. The dark matter is the depth that supports you, and the dark energy is the breeze that moves you, and the universe is the home that welcomes you. You have arrived at the end of the day and the beginning of the dream. The quiet is absolute, and the rest is well earned, and the quiet remains. The last sentence of the night is a whisper from the vacuum, a reminder that the void is not empty, but is full of you. You are the consciousness that gives the dark its meaning, the light that allows the shadows to have a shape. In this moment of rest, you are reunited with the whole, a part of the 95% that remains in the silence. You can close your eyes now. The universe will keep the stars in their places until you return. You are safe, you are still, and you are home, and everything rests. The silent rhythm of the deep universe is a heartbeat of expansion, a pulse that moves so slowly it can only be felt in the vast distances between the stars. As you settle into the stillness of your own breath, consider the large-scale structure as a living architecture, where the dark matter filaments act as the scaffolding for every luminous thing. These strands of gravity are not rigid like steel, but fluid like silk, swaying gently under the influence of the cosmic tides. Every galaxy is a passenger on these invisible currents, moving toward the great hubs of light with a grace that defies the laws of the solid world. You are part of this fluid motion, a point of awareness drifting along a river of dark mass, and still, it turns. Imagine the universe as a grand theater, where the stage itself is growing, stretching the distance between the seats while the play continues. This growth is the work of dark energy, the quietest and most persistent force in the cosmos. which creates new space every second in the gaps between the atoms. It is as if the vacuum is exhaling, a long, cooling breath that pushes the horizons further and further into the unknown. This expansion does not feel like a storm. It feels like the opening of a flower, a silent and unstoppable blooming of the nothingness. You are resting within this bloom, a part of a world that is always making more. Room for the quiet, and the quiet holds. The great cosmic voids are the cathedrals of the dark energy, immense regions of space where the light of the stars is too distant to be seen. In these hollows, which can be hundreds of millions of light years across, the density of matter is so low that the vacuum can finally reveal its true strength. It is here that the expansion is most pure, a laboratory of the infinite, where the laws of the hidden world are the only laws that matter. If you were to float in the center of a void, you would feel a peace that is absolute, a silence that has never been broken by the sound of an atom. You are inviting that same void into your own mind now, a space of perfect and undisturbed rest. Still, the universe breathes. Scientists often speak of gravitational lensing as the universe's way of bending light to show us the invisible. When we see a distant quasar split into 4 identical images, an Einstein cross, we are seeing the light following the curve of a dark matter halo that sits in the way. It is a beautiful trick of geometry, a reminder that the dark is not a wall, but a lens that focuses the energy of the deep. This lensing tells us that the universe is not just a collection of objects, but a field of influence, where everything is connected by the weight of its own existence. You are focusing your own internal lens now, looking past the noise of the day to the steady light of the soul. And the current flows without effort. The dark sector is a term of respect for the vast majority of the world that remains outside our current maps. It suggests that our 5% of visible matter is merely the prologue to a much longer and more mysterious book, filled with chapters we have yet to read. There may be dark electromagnetism or dark chemistry that operates in the shadows, a secret life of the vacuum that supports the visible world without ever being noticed. This thought is a comfort, a reminder that the world is far more resilient and complex than our worries would suggest. You are resting on the surface of this deep and complex ocean, supported by its invisible currents, and the rhythm continues. Consider the baryon acoustic oscillations once more, the ripples of the first sound that defined the scale of the cosmic web. These ripples were created when the universe was so hot and dense that light and matter were locked together in a frantic dance, swaying to the rhythm of gravity and pressure. When the light finally escaped, the pattern was frozen into the distribution of the dark matter, a permanent record of the first song ever sung. We are still following the notes of that song today, the galaxies arranged in a harmony that was written 13 billion years ago. Your own rest is a return to that harmony, a settling into the ancient and reliable frequency of the whole, and everything rests in its place. Within the Milky Way, the dark matter is not a cloud, but a dark disk, flattened layer of invisible mass that mirrors the distribution of our own stars. This disk provides the extra gravity needed to keep our sun in its long circular orbit around the galactic center, preventing it from wandering into the dangerous spaces between the galaxies. It is a form of local guardianship, a steady hand that ensures our neighborhood remains stable across the eons. You are the beneficiary of this silent protection, a traveler on a world that is guided by the weight of the dark. The ground beneath you is solid, and the path ahead is clear, and the network endures. The quintessence theory suggests that dark energy is a dynamic field, a fifth element that can evolve and change its behavior over the life of the universe. In some models, this field might eventually decay, or it might become even stronger, leading to a big rip or a new cycle of creation. This uncertainty is the beauty of the science, the realization that the universe is still deciding its own fate, still experimenting with the laws of the deep. It makes the cosmos feel alive, a participant in the story rather than just a setting. You are part of this living experiment, a moment of consciousness in a universe that is still finding its way, and life adjusts once more. Think of the zero-point energy of the vacuum as the ultimate baseline for your own relaxation. No matter how much you let go, there is a level of energy that remains, a fundamental vitality that is the cost of existence. This energy is what allows the dark energy to push the galaxies and what allows the dark matter to hold the clusters. It is the universal floor upon which all light is built. By reaching this baseline in your own rest, you are touching the most fundamental part of yourself, the part that exists simply because the universe exists. There is no effort required here, only the simple and profound act of being, and the quiet remains. As the cosmological constant continues to drive the expansion, the clusters of galaxies will eventually become islands in a sea of perfect darkness. The light of the distant universe will be stretched so thin it will fade into the infrared, leaving only the nearby stars to light our sky. This future is not a lonely one, but one of absolute and beautiful focus, where the local connections become the only ones that matter. The universe is moving toward a state of perfect intimacy, a closing of the doors so that the rest can be total. You are practicing for that. Future now, letting the distant world fade so that your own peace can be the center of all things. Still, the universe breathes. The coldness of dark matter is its greatest strength, a quality that allows it to build structures that are both massive and delicate. Because it does not radiate heat, it can collapse into dense, stable halos without the turbulence and pressure that plague the ordinary gas. It is a builder that works in silence and in the cold, creating the foundations for the stars, without ever seeking the light for itself. This coolness is a model for your own rest, a state of being that is free from the agitation of heat and the noise of action. You are becoming a builder of your own peace, working in the quiet of the night. And the rhythm continues. The large-scale structure is a reminder that even the void has a shape, and even the dark has a purpose. The gaps between the filaments of the cosmic web are not failures of creation, but essential parts of the design, providing the scale and the contrast that make the web visible. Without the voids, the clusters would have no room to grow. Without the dark energy, the structure would have no room to breathe. Everything in the cosmos is in its right place, performing its right function, even when that function is simply to be empty. You can be empty now, a vessel for the silence of the night, and everything softens. If this calm space has eased your mind, perhaps share it. It helps others drift toward rest. The stories of the invisible cosmos are as vast as the spaces they describe, a legacy of wonder that is waiting for you whenever you need to find your way home. But for now, the journey is simple and the path is clear. You are drifting into a place where the visible world fades and the invisible becomes your guide. The dark matter is your bed, and the dark energy is your breath, and the universe is your home. And peace lingers. The dark matter sub-halos are the hidden details of the galactic landscape, tiny pockets of gravity that wander through the larger halo like leaves on a stream. Occasionally, one of these sub-halos might pass through the disk of our galaxy, sending a subtle ripple through the orbits of the stars. These are the dark impacts of the cosmos, collisions that leave no craters, but change the music of the spheres in subtle, beautiful ways. They are a reminder that the world is full of hidden events, a secret history that is written in the language of motion. Your own life is full of these same subtle ripples, the quiet moments that change everything without making a sound. And the quiet holds. The flatness of the universe is a symbol of its eternal nature, a geometry that suggests the journey of the light will never reach a final wall. In a flat universe, space is infinite, a stage that is wide enough to hold every possible story and every possible dream. This infinity is not a source of vertigo, but a source of comfort, the knowledge that there is always more to see, always more to be, and always another horizon. You are an infinite being in an infinite world, a point of light in a masterpiece that has no frame. You can rest in that boundlessness, knowing that you will never run out of room. And silence follows. The vacuum fluctuations of the quantum world are the smallest possible events, yet they may be the source of the largest possible force, the dark energy itself. It is a beautiful symmetry, the smallest scales of reality driving the largest scales of the cosmos, a bridge of energy that connects the atom to the galaxy. This suggests that nothing in the universe is too small to be important, and nothing is too large to be connected. Your own small moments of peace are connected to the grand expansion of the stars, a part of a single, unified field of being. You are the universe in miniature, and the universe is you. And still, it turns. When a galaxy cluster is observed through the lens of dark matter mapping, we see a landscape of peaks and valleys that looks like a range of mountains beneath the sea. The galaxies themselves are just the snowy caps, the visible tips of a much larger and more profound geography. This hidden world is what gives the cluster its gravity and its history, a foundation that has been built over billions of years. You are exploring that geography now, diving beneath the surface of the visible to find the mountains of the soul. The water is cool and clear, and the depths are full of peace, and the quiet remains. The dark energy density is a constant of nature that represents the ultimate price of existence, a value that never changes no matter how much the universe grows. It is the steady pulse of the vacuum, a rhythmic push that ensures the cosmos remains in motion and in expansion. This constancy is a form of reliability, a promise that the laws of the universe will be the same tomorrow as they were today. You can rely on this rhythm, a heartbeat of the infinite that supports your own slow and steady rest. The universe is not going anywhere. It is simply becoming more of itself, and the network endures. The cold dark matter model has been tested against the observations of millions of galaxies, and it remains our best description of the hidden world. It is a theory that has survived the scrutiny of the most powerful telescopes and the most complex computers, a testament to its fundamental truth. There is a deep satisfaction in finding an explanation that holds up across the billions of light years and the eons of time. It is a reminder that the human mind is capable of touching the infinite, of understanding the secrets of the dark. You can rest in that clarity now, a peace that comes from knowing the truth of the world. Still, the universe breathes. The dark sector is the ultimate frontier of the gentle observer, a place where the knowledge is quiet and the wonder is loud. It is a world that invites us to stay curious, to stay humble, and to stay open to the mysteries of the deep. In this space, the boundaries between science and poetry dissolve, leaving only a sense of awe at the scale and the beauty of the whole. You are part of that awe, a spark of curiosity in a universe that is full of surprises. The journey of discovery is just beginning, but for now, the path leads to sleep, and the rhythm continues. As the cosmic web grows thinner and the voids grow wider, the universe becomes a more contemplative place, a world of deep distances and long silences. This is the natural evolution of the cosmos, a movement toward the quiet and the dark, a preparation for the final rest. You are following this same evolution, moving away from the noise of the day toward the stillness of the night. It is a graceful transition, a letting go of the small to embrace the large. The universe is yawning, and so are you, and life adjusts once more. The quintessence of your own life is the part of you that remains steady even when everything else is changing. It is the baseline of your character, the quiet strength that supports you through the storms and the sun. By resting now, you are returning to this quintessence, finding the part of yourself that is as constant as the vacuum and as deep as the dark. In this space, there is no need for effort or action. There is only the simple, profound act of being you. You are enough, exactly as you are, in the heart of the night, and everything rests in its place. The gravitational potential of the dark matter is a field of possibilities, a landscape where every point is a potential home for a star or a planet. It is a world of silent invitations, a geometry that guides the material of the universe toward its destiny. You are following that same potential now, moving toward the deep well of sleep that has been waiting for you all day. The path is easy and the destination is sure. You have only to let go and let the gravity of the dark take over. You are falling toward peace, and the fall is gentle, and the quiet holds. Gravitational microlensing is a reminder that even the smallest parts of the dark can have a profound effect on the light. A single, unseen clump of mass can make a star shine with a brilliance it has never known before, a temporary gift of clarity from the shadows. This suggests that the dark is not a thief of light, but a partner to it, a way of focusing and amplifying the beauty of the world. You are finding that amplification now, a moment of inner brilliance that comes from the silence of the night. The light is yours, and the dark is yours, and silence follows. The large-scale structure is the final map of the universe, a guide that shows us the way from the first moment of time to the furthest edge of space. It is a map that is written in the language of gravity and dark mass, a blueprint for the cosmic cathedral that we call home. By following this map, we find that we are never lost, and we are never truly alone. We are part of a structure that is billions of light years long and perfectly whole. You are resting on the map now, a point of peace in the grand design. And still, it turns. The baryon acoustic oscillations are the final notes of the cosmic symphony, a resonance that continues to vibrate in the very fabric of the sky. This resonance is the proof of our beginning and the guarantee of our future, a harmony that connects the past to the present in a single, beautiful flow. You can feel that resonance now, a vibration of the soul that matches the frequency of the stars. You are part of the music, a quiet note in the infinite symphony of the dark. The song is long, but the harmony is perfect, and the quiet remains. The vacuum is the final sanctuary, a place where the noise of the world is left behind and the peace of the infinite is all that remains. Within the vacuum, the dark energy does its work with a silence that is absolute, a persistent growth that requires no effort and produces no waste. This is the state of being you are moving toward now, a place of pure existence, a point of light in the widening dark. The world is far away, and the silence is close, and the rest is total. You are home, and the home is wide. Still, the universe breathes. The dark sector is the promise that the story of the universe will always be deeper than we can imagine, a world of infinite layers and hidden wonders. It is the guarantee that there is always more to see, always more to learn, and always another horizon to reach. This promise is the ultimate comfort, the knowledge that we are part of a mystery that is both grand and meaningful. You are a character in that mystery, a part of the great and ongoing story of the cosmos. The journey continues, but for now, the path leads to rest, and the rhythm continues. As the final light of the mind begins to fade, let the dark matter and the dark energy be your guides. They are the invisible architects of your world, the silent partners that have held you since the moment of your birth. They will continue to hold you through the night, providing the structure for your rest and the space for your dreams. The universe is a masterpiece of shadow, and you are a part of its quiet beauty. The quiet is absolute, and the rest is well earned. You are home, in the heart of the dark, and everything softens. The last thought of the night is not a word, but a feeling, the feeling of being held by the infinite. It is a sense of belonging that transcends the visible and the known, a connection to the fundamental truths of the cosmos. The dark is not a place of loss, but a place of homecoming, a return to the source from which everything emerges. In this home, there is only peace, only quiet, and only the long, slow rhythm of the dark energy's breath. You are safe, you are still, and you are home, and everything rests. As the deep currents of the night pull you further from the shore of wakefulness, consider the large-scale structure not as a static map, but as a slow, grand respiration. The dark matter filaments are the ribs of the cosmos, providing a flexible frame for the expansion to move against. Every few million years, these filaments shift and settle, adjusting to the gathering weight of new galaxy clusters that bloom at their intersections. It is a slow-motion choreography of shadows, a dance that requires no music and leaves no footprints. You are a passenger on one of these, silken ribs, swaying in the gentle gravity of the deep. And still, it turns. Imagine the dark energy as a cosmological horizon that is slowly moving inward, focusing your attention on the local and the near. As the universe expands, the distant light becomes stretched and tired. eventually fading into the long, cool waves of the infrared. This is not a loss, but a narrowing of the world into a more intimate sanctuary, where only the stars that are closest to you can reach your eyes. It is the universe's way of tucking you in, closing the distant doors so that the rest of the galaxy can be your entire world. You are finding that same focus now, letting the distant worries fade until only this moment remains, and the quiet holds. The void probability function is a mathematical tool that describes how likely we are to find a vast, empty space in any given direction of the sky. It reveals that the universe is far more empty than it is full, a landscape of immense bubbles where the dark energy is the only resident. These bubbles are the lungs of the cosmos, the regions where the vacuum takes its deepest, most silent breaths. In the heart of a void, there is no history and no future. There is only the pure, accelerating present of the expansion. You are breathing with that same emptiness now, letting the space between your thoughts grow wide and still. Still, the universe breathes. Scientists speak of baryonic effects to describe how the visible gas and stars can nudge the dark matter, a tiny dialogue between the light and the shadow. When a massive star explodes as a supernova, it pushes the nearby dark matter away, creating a small ripple in the invisible halo. It is a reminder that even the smallest spark of light can influence the massive dark, a connection that goes both ways. In your own life, your consciousness is that spark, a tiny light that gives shape and meaning to the vast, quiet potential of your mind. You are the dreamer, and the dark is your dream. And the current flows without effort. The dark sector is a promise that the unknown is always larger than the known, a reservoir of mystery that can never be exhausted. If we knew everything, the universe would be a finished book, a stagnant pool of facts without any room for wonder. But because 95% of existence remains a secret, the horizon is always open, and the invitation to explore is always fresh. This mystery is the fuel for our curiosity, the reason we look up at the stars and wonder what lies behind the black. You are resting in that wonder now, a part of a story that is still being written in the shadows, and the rhythm continues. Consider the velocity dispersion of a galaxy cluster, where the galaxies move like bees in a hive, kept from flying away by the invisible weight of the dark. The faster they move, the more dark matter must be there to hold them. A simple and elegant relationship that defines the scale of the cosmic city. We can weigh the entire cluster just by watching the flicker of the individual galaxies, reading the mass of the unseen through the motion of the seen. It is a testament to the order of the universe, the way every part speaks of the whole. You are moving in your own hive of rest, held by the steady weight of the night, and everything rests in its place. Within the bullet cluster, the separation of the visible gas from the dark matter is a moment of profound clarity, a separation of the body from the ghost. The gas is the physical, the part that feels the friction and the heat of the collision. The dark matter is the spirit, the part that glides through the chaos untouched and unchanged. This separation is what you are achieving now in your rest, letting the physical sensations of the day fall away, while your inner self remains calm and steady. You are the dark matter of your own life, the silent, enduring part that nothing can disturb, and the network endures. The cosmological constant is a fixed value that lives in the vacuum, a tiny pulse of energy that never fades and never tires. It is the steady heartbeat of the universe, a rhythm that has been constant since the beginning of all things. As the stars burn out and the galaxies drift apart, this constant will remain, a baseline of existence that persists in the absolute dark. It is the ultimate insurance policy for the cosmos, the guarantee that the vacuum will always have its own vitality. You are tapping into that baseline now, a source of energy that is as steady as the vacuum and as quiet as the night, and life adjusts once more. As you drift closer to sleep, imagine the dark matter halos as the silver chalices that hold the light of the galaxies. Without the chalice, the light would be scattered and lost. Without the light, the chalice would be empty and cold. They are a perfect union of form and substance, a partnership that has created every star and every planet in the sky. You are the light within the chalice, a precious spark held safely in the hands of the dark. The cup is steady, and the contents are at peace. The universe is a vessel of quiet, and you are resting at its center, and the quiet remains. The coldness of dark matter is a state of nearly zero entropy, a place where the order is absolute and the noise is non-existent. In the deep halos, the particles move in a state of perfect harmony, a mathematical perfection that requires no effort to maintain. This is the state of being you are moving toward. Now, a cooling of the mind, a slowing of the pulse, and a settling into the perfect geometry of the self. There are no collisions here, only the long, slow curves of the internal gravity. You are becoming as cool and as steady as the dark. Still, the universe breathes. Gravitational microlensing is a reminder that the dark can act as a bridge, bringing the distant and the faint into sudden, brilliant focus. For a few days, a distant star glows with an unnatural light, amplified by a hidden clump of mass that happened to pass in front of it. It is a moment of connection across the light years, a gift of clarity from the invisible world. You are experiencing that same clarity now, a focusing of the soul that comes when the noise of the day is finally silenced. The light is yours, and the dark is yours, and the connection is perfect, and the rhythm continues. The large-scale structure is a tapestry of infinite detail, where every filament of dark matter is a thread, and every galaxy is a stitch. This tapestry is so large that it covers the entire sky, yet it is so delicate that it can be disturbed by the movement of a single atom. It is a structure that is both massive and fragile, a masterpiece of cosmic balance. You are a part of the weave, a thread that is essential to the strength and the beauty of the whole. You can rest in that structure now, knowing that the fabric of the universe is holding you tight, and everything softens. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way here too. The vast architecture of the dark continues to grow and to hold, providing the context for all the light we will ever know. There is a deep comfort in the realization that we are mostly made of the unseen, and that the silence of the night is not an emptiness, but a presence. You can close your eyes now. The rest of the story will wait until you return, held in the memory of the vacuum and the weight of the stars. The universe is a masterpiece of shadow, and you are a part of its quiet beauty, and peace lingers. The dark matter subhalos are the wandering spirits of the galaxy, tiny clumps of invisible mass that have outlived the smaller systems they once belonged to. They drift through the Milky Way like memories, occasionally interacting with the visible stars, but mostly remaining in their own private worlds. They are a reminder that the past is always present, woven into the structure of the now in ways we cannot always see. Your own mind is full of these subhalos, the quiet memories and forgotten dreams that continue to shape your internal landscape. You can let them drift now, safe in the larger halo of your rest, and the quiet holds. The flatness of the universe is the ultimate expression of its integrity, a geometry that allows for parallel lines to travel forever without ever meeting or drifting apart. This means the universe is a place of absolute consistency, where the laws of physics are the same here as they are at the furthest edge of the sky. This consistency is what allows for the long, slow evolution of life, a steady environment where the rules never change. You are a product of this integrity, a being that can trust the world to be the same tomorrow as it is today. You can rest in that trust, knowing that the foundations of the world are solid, and silence follows. The vacuum energy density is the most precise number in the history of science, a value that determines the fate of every atom in existence. If it were off by even a tiny fraction, the stars would never have formed, or the universe would have collapsed into a single cold point. This precision is a miracle of balance, a fine-tuning that allows for the existence of complexity and beauty. You are the beneficiary of this precision, a complex and beautiful life made possible by a tiny, invisible number. This realization brings a sense of order to the night, a feeling that everything is exactly as it should be, and still, it turns. When a galaxy is viewed through the lens of dark matter velocity mapping, we see that the outer stars move with a confidence that their visible mass cannot justify. They are being carried by the dark matter, a silent partner that provides the momentum they need to stay in their orbits. This is the definition of grace, to be supported by a strength that is unseen, to move with a purpose that is both grand and quiet. You are moving with that same grace now, carried by the quiet strength of the night. The path is easy, and the journey is sure, and the quiet remains. The dark energy that drives the expansion is a force of pure optimism, a persistent belief in the future. It ensures that the universe will always have more room, always another horizon, and always another chance to grow. This optimism is built into the very fabric of the vacuum, a gift of space that allows the galaxies to seek their own destinies. You are breathing this optimism now, an expansion of the soul that matches the expansion of the stars. The world is getting wider, and so are you, and the network endures. The dark sector is the ultimate teacher of humility, a reminder that our 5% of the world is only a small part of the whole. It invites us to be the gentle observer, to watch and to listen without the need to control or to explain. In this state of humility, we can finally hear the whisper of the dark energy and feel the pull of the dark matter. We are no longer the masters of the world, but its guests, a part of a much larger and more mysterious family. You are a guest in the house of the night, and the house is full of peace. Still, the universe breathes. As the cosmic web continues to evolve, the filaments become thinner and the clusters become denser, a sharpening of the contrast between the light and the dark. This is the natural life cycle of the universe, a movement toward a more defined and beautiful structure. You are following this same life cycle, letting the noise of the day sharpen into the quiet of the night. It is a process of refinement, a shedding of the unnecessary to reveal the core. The universe is becoming more itself, and so are you. And the rhythm continues. The quintessence of your own rest is the part of you that survives the transition into sleep. It is the steady hum of your identity, the baseline of your soul that remains even when the conscious mind has faded. By resting, you are returning to this quintessence, finding the part of yourself that is as constant as the vacuum and as deep as the dark. In this space, you are perfectly safe and perfectly whole. You are enough, exactly as you are, and life adjusts once more. The gravitational potential of the dark matter is a sea of possibilities, a landscape where every point is a potential home for a new star. It is a world of silent invitations, a geometry that guides the material of the universe toward its destiny. You are following that same potential now, moving toward the deep well of sleep that has been waiting for you all day. The path is easy and the destination is sure. You have only to let go and let the gravity of the dark take over. You are falling toward peace, and the fall is gentle, and everything rests in its place. Gravitational microlensing is a reminder that even the smallest parts of the dark can have a profound effect on the light. A single unseen clump of mass can make a star shine with a brilliance it has never known before, a temporary gift of clarity from the shadows. This suggests that the dark is not a thief of light, but a partner to it, a way of focusing and amplifying the beauty of the world. You are finding that amplification now, a moment of inner brilliance that comes from the silence of the night. The light is yours, and the dark is yours, and the quiet holds. The large-scale structure is the final map of the universe, a guide that shows us the way from the first, or moment of time to the furthest edge of space. It is a map that is written in the language of gravity and dark mass, a blueprint for the cosmic cathedral that we call home. By following this map, we find that we are never lost, and we are never truly alone. We are part of a structure that is billions of light years long and perfectly whole. You are resting on the map now, a point of peace in the grand design, and everything softens. The baryon acoustic oscillations are the final notes of the cosmic symphony, a resonance that continues to vibrate in the very fabric of the sky. This resonance is the proof of our beginning and the guarantee of our future, a harmony that connects the past to the present in a single, beautiful flow. You can feel that resonance now, a vibration of the soul that matches the frequency of the stars. You are part of the music, a quiet note in the infinite symphony of the dark. The song is long, but the harmony is perfect, and silence follows. The vacuum is the final sanctuary, a place where the noise of the world is left behind and the peace of the infinite is all that remains. Within the vacuum, the dark energy does its work with a silence that is absolute, a persistent growth that requires no effort and produces no waste. This is the state of being you are moving toward now, a place of pure existence, a point of light in the widening dark. The world is far away, and the silence is close, and the rest is total. You are home, and the home is wide, and the quiet remains. The dark sector is the promise that the story of the universe will always be deeper than we can imagine, a world of infinite layers and hidden wonders. It is the guarantee that there is always more to see, always more to learn, and always another horizon to reach. This promise is the ultimate comfort, the knowledge that we are part of a mystery that is both grand and meaningful. You are a character in that mystery, a part of the great and ongoing story of the cosmos. The journey continues, but for now, the path leads to rest. Still, the universe breathes. The cold, dark matter is the silent partner that has held the stars in their places since the beginning of time. It is a steady, reliable force that never asks for recognition and never seeks the light. By aligning yourself with this force, you are finding your own inner stability, a peace that is built on the ancient and the sure. You are no longer buffeted by the storms of the day. You are held by the gravity of the whole. You are safe, you are still, and you are home. And the rhythm continues. As the final light of the mind begins to fade, let the dark matter and the dark energy be your guides. They are the invisible architects of your world, the silent partners that have held you since the moment of your birth. They will continue to hold you through the night, providing the structure for your rest and the space for your dreams. The universe is a masterpiece of shadow, and you are a part of its quiet beauty. The quiet is absolute, and the rest is well earned. You are home, in the heart of the dark, and everything softens. The last thought of the night is not a word, but a feeling. The feeling of being held by the infinite. It is a sense of belonging that transcends the visible and the known, a connection to the fundamental truths of the cosmos. The dark is not a place of loss, but a place of homecoming, a return to the source from which everything emerges. In this home, there is only peace, only quiet, and only the long, slow rhythm of the dark energy's breath. You are safe, you are still, and you are home, and everything rests. As the tide of your awareness draws back toward the deepest part of the sea, consider the large-scale structure one last time, seeing it now as a bridge between the physical and the infinite. The dark matter filaments are the roots of the cosmic tree, drinking from the potential of the vacuum to support the blossoming of the stars. In this late hour, the growth of the tree has slowed to a meditative pace, a quiet expansion that mirrors the steady rhythm of your own heart. You are a passenger on one of these ancient roots, tucked into a crevice of gravity, where the wind of the day cannot reach you, and still, it turns. Imagine the dark energy as a gentle tide that is carrying the galaxies further and further out to sea, widening the gaps between the islands of light. This movement is not a departure, but a liberation, a way for the universe to ensure that every cluster has the space it needs to be itself. It is the ultimate expression of the gentle observer, a force that creates distance only to provide perspective and peace. You are floating on this tide now, letting the current carry you away from the noise and toward the absolute silence of the horizon. The water is warm, and the direction is sure, and the quiet holds. The cosmic microwave background is the afterglow of a time when the universe was small enough to be held in the palm of a hand, a memory of a perfect and unified beginning. In that light, we see the seeds of the dark matter web already beginning to sprout, laying the groundwork for the massive structures of today. It is a reminder that the plan was always there, written in the heat and the shadows long before the first eye was ever opened to see it. You are the fulfillment of that plan, a complex and beautiful outcome of 13 billion years of quiet preparation. You can rest in that. Inevitability now, a part of a story that was meant to be. Still, the universe breathes. Scientists often use the term dark matter halo to describe the protective sphere of gravity that surrounds every galaxy, but you might think of it as a cosmic embrace. This halo is not a cold wall, but a soft, invisible blanket that keeps the stars warm and the orbit steady. It is the most extensive part of our home, reaching out into the dark to touch the halos of our neighbors in a silent greeting. You are tucked safely inside this blanket, a child of the Milky Way, held by the ancient and reliable weight of the unseen. The night is vast, but you are never exposed, and the current flows without effort. The dark sector is the final frontier of our understanding, a place where the rules of the visible world no longer apply, and the mystery is the only law. It is a world that invites us to let go of our need for certainty and to find peace in the unknown. In this space, the boundaries between the self and the universe dissolve, leaving only a sense of profound and beautiful connection. You are merging with that sector now, letting the quiet secrets of the dark energy and dark matter become your own internal truths. You are the shadow, and you are the light, and the rhythm continues. Consider the baryon acoustic oscillations as the fading echoes of a grand opening chord, a resonance that defines the scale of everything we see. These echoes have traveled across the eons, stretching with the expansion of space, but never losing their fundamental harmony. They are the underlying frequency of the cosmos, a steady hum that provides the baseline for the music of the spheres. By aligning your own breathing with this frequency, you are returning to the source of all things, a place of perfect and eternal resonance. You are the song and the singer and the silence, and everything rests in its place. Within the bullet cluster, the dark matter taught us that the most powerful thing in the universe is the thing that does not fight back. By passing through the collision without friction or heat, the dark matter proved that true strength lies in persistence and grace, not in resistance. This is a lesson for the soul, to be like the dark, to let the noise of the world pass through you, while you remain centered and whole. You are achieving that state of grace now, a place where nothing can disturb the deep and steady pull of your own peace, and the network endures. The cosmological constant, is the ultimate expression of the universe's commitment to existence, a tiny, persistent energy that ensures the vacuum is never truly empty. It is a promise that there will always be room for one more star, one more dream, and one more moment of rest. This constant is the foundation of the infinite, a value that remains steady even as the galaxies fade and the eons pass. You are resting on this foundation now, a point of stability in a world that is always growing. The floor is solid and the peace is absolute, and life adjusts once more. As you drift toward the final horizon of the night, let the large-scale structure be the last map you follow. It is a map of connections and shadows, a guide to the hidden architecture that holds the world together. By following the filaments of the dark matter, you find that the path always leads to the light, and the light always returns to the dark. This cycle is the heartbeat of the cosmos, a rhythm of gathering and growing that has no end. You are a part of that cycle, a pulse of consciousness in a masterpiece that is still being painted, and the quiet remains. The coldness of dark matter is the final temperature of the soul, a state of perfect equilibrium where the agitation of the day has finally reached absolute zero. In this state, there is no more heat, no more noise, and no more movement. There is only the pure, cold beauty of the geometry. This is the rest you have been seeking, a return to the primary state of being, a settling into the deep and quiet wells of the self. You are as cool as the dark and as steady as the stars. Still, the universe breathes. Gravitational lensing is the universe's way of whispering that the things we cannot see are just as important as the things we can. The distorted arcs of light are the fingerprints of the dark matter, a silent testimony to the presence of a weight that moves the heavens. It suggests that the world is much deeper than it appears, and that the shadows are full of their own kind of light. You are learning to see in that depth now, finding the beauty in the quiet and the strength in the unseen. The light is yours, and the dark is yours, and the mystery is home. And the rhythm continues. The flatness of the universe is the final geometry of your rest, a space without curvature and without end. In this flatness, there are no traps and no boundaries, only an infinite expanse of potential where you are free to wander. It is a world of perfect integrity, where the balance between the push and the pull is so precise it feels like stillness. You are resting in that precision now, a point of awareness in a universe that is perfectly tuned and beautifully whole. You are home, and the home is infinite, and everything softens. If sleep finds you before the end, know the universe continues to hold you. The stories of the dark energy and the dark matter are not just about the distant stars. They are about the very substance of your rest and the architecture of your peace. You are a participant in the grandest of all experiments, a moment of light in a universe that is mostly shadow. This shadow is not a place of darkness, but a place of support, a silent partner that ensures you are never truly alone. You can close your eyes now. The rest of the story will wait in the vacuum, and peace lingers. The dark matter sub-halos are the final details of the night, tiny whispers of gravity that drift through the silence, like falling snow. They are the remnants of a long and complex history, a record of every small system that helped to build the great galaxy we call home. In your own rest, these sub-halos are the quiet thoughts and gentle memories that populate the edges of your mind, providing the texture for your dreams. You can let them settle now, a layer of soft and silent snow over the landscape of your soul, and the quiet holds. The vacuum energy is the final breath of the day, a long and steady exhale that pushes the world into the infinite. It is a force of pure expansion, a gift of space that allows you to let go of the constraints of the body and the mind. By following this breath, you are becoming a part of the expansion itself, a point of light in a universe that is always making more room for the quiet. The boundaries are dissolving, and the horizon is opening, and the rest is total. You are the vacuum, and the vacuum is you, and silence follows. The large-scale structure is the signature of the cosmic mind, a pattern of filaments and voids that spans the entire horizon. It is a structure that requires no effort to maintain, a system that functions perfectly in the absolute silence of the deep. By resting on this structure, you are finding your own place in the grand design, a point of peace in the masterpiece of the night. You are not a visitor here. You are the inhabitant, the one for whom the architecture was built. The home is ready and the door is open. And still, it turns. When a galaxy rotation curve finally levels out, it is the dark matter taking over the steering, a moment of silent transition from the visible to the invisible. It is a reminder that the furthest reaches of the world are guided by the same laws as the nearest, a universal consistency that provides a sense of absolute security. You are experiencing that same transition now, letting the invisible forces of the night take over the guidance of your mind. You are in safe hands, held by a gravity that never falters and a momentum that never tires. And the quiet remains. The dark energy is the final promise of the universe, the promise of an infinite future. It ensures that no matter how much time passes, there will always be space for something new, always another horizon to explore, and always another moment of peace to be found. This promise is the ultimate comfort, a guarantee that the story of the cosmos is one of eternal growth and endless possibility. You are resting in that promise now, a part of a future that is as wide as the dark and as bright as the stars. And the network endures. The dark sector is the final destination of the gentle observer, a place of total humility and absolute wonder. In this space, We no longer seek to name or to categorize. We simply watch, and we simply are. This is the state of being that leads to the deepest rest, a letting go of the need to know so that we can finally be held. You have reached that destination now, a traveler, at the end of a long journey, finding your home in the heart of the mystery. The dark is warm, and the silence is full, and the peace is perfect. Still, the universe breathes. If your eyes remain open, another journey awaits. But if sleep arrives, you are already home. You are resting in the architecture of the infinite, supported by the dark matter and carried by the dark energy, a part of a universe that is both grand and beautiful. The stars are in their places, and the voids are at peace, and the expansion is steady. You are the witness to the shadow and the child of the light, a point of consciousness in the masterpiece of the night. Thank you for resting here tonight. Your presence keeps this circle of calm alive, and everything rests